So the last time the Crown Collectors gathered, the Shambling Fields was your battleground, and you faced off against a legendary boulet called the Land Shark, or Old Knuckles to some. And after a initial encounter on the surface, it escaped into its lair and you gave chase. Finding out quickly that this creature has been subsisting not only on the platinum ore that it has ingested while invading the Grung village, but also it lairs in a lava cave. Surrounded by fumes and molten rock, it has strengthened this thing's hide and made it very dangerous and able to withstand the hot temperatures and toxic fumes. However, in spectacular fashion, the Crown Collectors were victorious over this creature. And you slayed it. It lays now in a heap at the bottom of its lair, with the 9 of you kind of huddled in the mouth of a cave that seems to exit up to the surface so as to escape the noxious fumes of this cave. And that's where we left off. I'm going to port everybody over to the map where you were. There you go. And you find yourselves in the mouth of this cave, about, I'd say, a good 30-35 feet from the corpse of the land shark. You're able to breathe in this space without having to worry about any constitution checks, but you do have a trophy to collect. So with that, Crown Collectors, what would you all like to do?
Well, I think we should all try to drag this land shark out of the cave. It might take some time, but I think we can manage it.
Great. Let's do it.
Well, did we take a short rest during this time?
I believe we took a short rest.
So, I have a question. So, is telekinetic, and I have the ability to move a creature 30 feet. Are within 30 feet of me, and I can either pull it or push it away. It normally would have to make a strength save, but since it's dead, it really can't make a save to resist me. So can I pull it to the fresh air zone?
Well, you'd have to make an ability check with your spellcasting ability, contested by the the creature's strength check. Now, yes, he is dead, but I'm gonna have him make not a strength check. It's gonna be kind of like, it'd be the same if you tried to move a rock. So you'd have to beat a base DC in order to make that work. Now, is that a spell slot or is that a feature?
It's a bonus action feature.
Okay.
And telekinesis, is that the one where you can move up to like 500 pounds?
Well, it's telekinetic, and it just says you can move a creature within 30 feet of you.
I would say, yeah, Barry brings up a good point. At this point, it's not a creature anymore, it's an object. And it says you can try to move an object that weighs up to 1,000 pounds. If the object isn't being worn or carried, you can move it automatically, but not beyond the range of the spell. This thing weighs much more than 1,000 pounds. So I will say, I'm going to attach a DC to this. So go ahead and this is going to count permanently. So if this fails, it's because it's too heavy. So go ahead and roll a telekinetic check with your spellcasting ability. We'll see if you can beat the DC.
Can we assist by trying to drag it?
Yeah, you can push it, and I'll give him. I won't give him advantage. I won't give him advantage. I will lower the DC for that.
So you want me to add my intelligence modifier to this instead of, or my spellcasting proficiency, because that's going to be
it's your spellcasting ability, which would be your intelligence.
Can I also
24.
help?
Okay. Sorry, I heard Noah. What'd you say?
Could I also help with that?
Yeah. So I've got Atgeir and Koza at the rear of the boule with Yuno kind of. You see him extend his hands and almost as if grasping a rope, drag this creature. I'm going to need Koza and Atgeir to both make Constitution saving throws.
Okay, I will have turned into a black bear before I tried to do that.
Right on. Okay, so make it with... Then go ahead and make a con save with a bear's con modifier. Alright. Atgeir, you take 2 points of poison damage, or fire damage, rather, as the fumes of this place, especially the fact that you're... Let's see, it looks like you're about 20 feet away from the crevasse of this lava river that's just slowly churning south. And the fumes kind of get into your lungs and sting a bit. Doesn't hurt too bad. I mean, you're a dwarf. You're used to being underground and smelling weird mineral-type fumes, but it still does burn quite a bit. Koza, what'd you get?
Hang on, I'm trying to figure out. I guess I'll just roll a d20 and add 2.
Black bear, con. Black bear.
Okay, so that's a 14.
14. You take 4 points of fire damage as the fumes enter your bear form's lungs. You can feel it kind of cauterize a few of the alveoli, as it's called. Did I get that right, Dr. Bean?
Alveoli, yeah.
How many points do I take?
You take 4.
Okay.
But with that, you are all able to collectively drag this creature to the mouth of this cave, and I will say that it is only about 15 feet wide, and this creature is like kind of getting close to being jammed into this tunnel, and I'll have...
Okay, the only reason that Yuno was pulling it to the mouth of the cave is because this is a fresh air zone, and now we can cut off the head without everyone needing to make saving throws. Which
I will
was the plan.
The fact that Koza and Atgeir are behind it, and now it's kind of stuffed in the entrance. Unless you guys want to make another con save, I'm going to need an athletics check from both of you to see if you can squeeze around it to get to the other side of the creature.
Okay.
And once Atgeir gets through, can he try and like pull Koza through?
Yeah. Koza, go ahead and make that athletics with advantage if he's kind of yanking on your paws.
Okay.
If Koza if you still have any spell slots, you could use stone shape to widen the cave mouth.
Stone shape. How is that? A 5-foot cube of space?
Hang on. I think stone shape.
5 feet.
I mean,
or smaller, 5 feet in direction.
I mean, it may not be a huge amount, but it may be enough just to kind of help get some extra wiggle room. So,
well, hang on. I think it's a cantrip, so I can just cast it. Oh no!
It's 4th level.
I can't even cast 4th level spells.
But it looks like he made it. It looks like he made it okay, no problem. He got a pretty good score on his athletics, so we'll say that in the midst of this discussion, he kind of squeezed through anyway, and yeah, now you're all on the safe side of this tunnel. Let's see, who's over there? Let me have Maven, Sazaros, and where is Baranor? Let me have the 3 of you, Baranor, Sazaros, and Maven. All give me perception checks.
15 from the bard.
All right. So as they're kind of pulling it through, Sazaros, Maven, Baranor, you guys are kind of looking behind you at the mouth, at the far end of the tunnel as it crescents upwards at a pretty steep incline. The tunnel kind of widens in some places and narrows in others, and you're getting the feeling like that the opening is about maybe 100 feet away, and it looks like even if you decapitate this creature, dragging its head is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do is You guys decide what you want to do from here, and I'll present you guys with something.
Do you think maybe we can exit out of this cave mouth and go back down to get the horses?
Well, that's certainly a possibility. Do any of you magic folk have the ability to shrink this head? Like a pygmy style, fit in a jar?
Any idea how much this head weighs? Because I can carry quite a bit, but probably not that much.
Alternatively, does anyone know how deep down we are? Start the cave in, maybe dig our way back down?
I think that would be something that you would be able to figure out.
Oh, I get it, because all dwarves know how deep underground they are. GM, how would I establish that?
How deep you are?
Yeah, like how far? Like if we were to cause a cave in, like collapse the ceiling, like would we be able to tunnel our way like up and out? Like basically create like a strip mine above this place.
You would imagine that right now you are anywhere between 60 to 75 feet directly underground.
Got it. So At here is just gonna mean mug everybody, and then he just sort of like lick his lips and sort of like taste the air and be like, "Okay, well, in this one circumstance, I would assess that we're about 60 feet underground. So never mind. But I don't always have this ability."
Can I have Axton and Baranor both make nature checks for me?
Everybody likes nature checks.
Oh boy.
Thank God for Barry.
Yeah, Baranor, you're kind of eyeing this, and Axton, you hear Axton kind of talking about, how much is its head going to weigh? And you kind of take a step back and look at this creature, and you gather that it's probably its whole body weighs perhaps 4 tons, and its head is a full third of its body. So do with that information what you will.
So what, like 750?
It's a lot. No, 4 tons, and it's a third of the body.
2,640
The head itself
pounds.
is over a ton.
Oh shit!
And 640 pounds.
Oh wait, is a ton 2,000 pounds?
Yes.
That's
Oh
correct.
shit!
Thank God we're all Americans here.
Mm-hmm. So we need to remove the head here, because there's no way we're going to get this entire beast up this incline up.
Unless, like they said, we can shrink it somehow.
Well, all we really need is proof that we killed this thing. Is there any other way that we
Oh,
can
he wants the head.
No, he wants the head.
He does want the head? Oh my god.
Yeah, he wants it for his, what do you say, his wife?
His betrothed as a token.
Does he want
winter over or something?
Would he want the head with the meaty parts in it?
Right, maybe we just take the skull.
Like the what's it called? I'm gonna butcher this. Carapace?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Call it.
Well, I will say that Axton removed a section of the thing's skull from like the tip of its snout to the back of its head of a regular boulet and kept that amount.
I did.
And as you guys are discussing this, I would say that Axton, you kind of are like remembering that you did that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I should do roughly the same thing with this one. Just chop it up, take it out.
Break it apart and take it out in pieces,
We might have to.
and then reassemble it when we get it out there.
Let the taxidermist take care of it.
Right, so we're gonna butcher this thing. Love it.
Whatever taxidermy is.
Is there still like veins of like rare metal all throughout this creature?
Well, the top of its head is almost completely platinum. And it does have kind of chutes and thick sections. It doesn't have necessarily veins of platinum running through it, but like patches of coloration where over the years of it consuming, and this is all speculation, of course, over the years of consuming platinum, it has shed scales on top of its armor and replaced it with naturally growing kind of like clamshell. You know how a clam kind of replaces parts of its shell with whatever it's consuming, and that's kind of what's happening here. Is there are like little stripes of platinum the further back from its head you get, but its head is almost completely encased in platinum.
Okay, so piecemeal it, reassemble.
I will say with Baranor's nature check of 17, you guys are kind of pulling its head and moving it, wiggling it around. You notice that there is soft tissue between the plates, starting at the very back of its armor-like hide. You guys know the alien queen from the Alien movies?
Oh yeah.
So imagine that the alien queen's head, where it's got that sweeping shell, armored shell, that's kind of the top of this thing's head, and then there are 6 consecutive sweeping shells behind it, and in between each of those shells is kind of soft, relatively soft, leathery material.
Well, at least that gives us some cutting points.
Baron, do you want to help me butcher this?
Sure.
All right, yeah, give me, whoever's helming it, give me a survival check with advantage.
What's your survival?
Let me ask this. While they're working on getting the head, would anyone care to join me to go up the top of this and see if we're a reasonable distance from the horses?
Sure. I miss my little pony anyway. I get you back.
Sazros and Atgeir, both... Sorry, both of you give me a athletics check as you scale the rather steep incline of this tunnel to the surface.
I'll lower a rope for Sazi.
Do you have 100 feet of rope?
100 feet? Jesus.
Yep.
No. I think I only have 50. Actually, You know what? I don't even have 50 feet. I took the Thieves Pack. Silly me.
All right, well, Atgeir, you made it to the top, and Sazros, this isn't a matter of you've passed or failing, it's just how long it's taking you. So by the time that Atgeir gets to the top, you've only made it about maybe 20 feet up, and you're having a real hard... You hit like a patch of gravel, and it's making you kind of backslide a little bit. So I'm going to say, Atgeir, you definitely make it to the top real easy. You're kind of bounding off the walls, and you're finding the footholds, and Sazros just kind of took a slightly different path, and it's not working out too well for him. He didn't make it up quite as quickly. So Axon and Baranor, what's going on with you guys? You guys are attempting to remove... How much of this thing are you attempting to remove?
Well, mainly the outer shell and the skull.
Okay. I'll say that you were able to find purchase with what are you using to cut it with?
Well, let's see. I do have my leatherworker's kit, so whatever's included in that probably. But if needed, I could use some of my other tools.
Well, your leatherworking kit allows you to stretch, tan, and prepare leather. It's not necessarily butcher's tools, and you're noticing that this thing's hide is a lot tougher than what a small knife would allow you to. You're gonna have to use something bigger.
Yeah, I'm guessing you have to use your halberd.
Use a combination of a lot of tools, from like my mason's tools to smithing tools to tinker's tools.
No, I'm guessing like weapons.
I have all the tools, so I'll have to use a mixture of everything I have.
What are you proficient in?
The only thing I'm proficient in right now is cook's utensils and leatherworkers.
Okay, so I'm gonna say cook's utensils.
They would be used for butchering, kind of.
I'll say that the only thing out of that whole pile of tools that you are having any luck with at all is like a carving knife. That's the only thing you're finding any kind of purchase. And about a quarter of the way around this thing's neck, your knife has become dull. Because you're just kind of you're kind of grazing against the platinum of this thing's hide, and it's just platinum is such a strong metal. It's just every scrape, every nick, every time you touch that with the knife as you're trying to cut away at its neck, you're dulling the blade to the point where you're getting a couple nicks and chips in the blade, and it's not really helping out anymore.
Well, here's my survival: 17 to butcher this head.
I'll say you got maybe a quarter of the way around the neck before you're gonna have to try something different because it's just not working out. It's a large creature. It's a very, very tough hide.
Let's say, would you use like daggers or short swords or something?
At this point, we're going to turn this into a skill challenge.
Sure.
So you all watch as Axton is really struggling with getting that much of the creature's head separated from the body. Baranor, you being the most involved, the closest involved in this, what would you like to do? What skills would you like to utilize to add to this skill challenge to accomplish your goal of removing the head?
Well, having monstrosities as a favorite enemy, knowing quite a bit about the anatomy of the boule itself in that regard, and being proficient in more like daggers and short swords, I could use that.
Are you proficient in finesse weapons?
I'm proficient in just about everything, I think. Martial and simple weapons, so...
Alright, one moment.
That covers...
Martial covers everything from finesse to non-finesse.
Okay, yeah, so if you're proficient in martial weapons, you're proficient in scimitars, and you will remember that you are carrying Wind Razor. And yes, you do know that not only does this thing allow you, once per long rest, to make a spirit of 2 attacks instead of 1, that this thing's edge is razor sharp.
Yes.
And it's a magical weapon, too.
Yes. So as well as my daggers.
Something to think about.
Yeah. So I could use that.
The daggers are not magical. They are just very sharp.
They're plus 1s.
Right.
Right. Okay.
This one non-magical.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so go ahead, Baranor. Is that what you'd like to do? I don't want to speak for you. Okay.
No,
go ahead and give me a survival check, and I also want you to roll 2 attacks.
2 Wind Razor attacks?
Yep.
All right. Just to hit or to damage as well?
Just to hit.
Okay. That's the first one.
All right. All right, your first strike cuts almost clean through where Axton's blades were making purchase. You're able to open up another 2 or 3 feet. Now this thing's head is about where the neck connects the head to the body. It's about 5 feet across. I mean, this thing is a humongously massive creature. So you're able to get a couple feet through the outer carapace and the outer skin, and you're actually able to hook the Wind Razor in between 2 of the vertebrae and pop that loose as well. But you kind of get the scimitar kind of jammed up and stuck in a particularly tough piece of the leather, where this thing is laying down on its side, and the meat is actually, the more you cut, I don't know if you guys have ever tried chainsawing a tree trunk, but the further you get through, if you're not doing it correctly, the wood will actually press in on the blade, chainsaw itself. And that's kind of what's happening, is the meat is creating pressure around the Wind Razor, and you're now at the point where you're kind of stuck. The Wind Razor is now stuck in its flesh. So, who would like to contribute to this skill challenge to remove this head?
I guess I will cast Thorn Whip and try and kind of saw it off if I can. Yeah,
you extend your arm in this ethereal kind of bluish-purple string erupts from your hand, solidifies into a brown vine, and then erupts with these 1-inch thorns all along its surface. Go ahead and make an attack with your Thorn Whip. And I'll let you do it at advantage because this thing is not moving, it's dead. Punch its head off.
That is a...
Make it with you can make it with advantage.
Oh. Peaches.
Yeah, forget that roll.
Whatever.
Not much better.
Yeah. We're gonna call that a no.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not responding very well. You're noticing that your magical little thorns are breaking off the more you try and saw this thing. So that's a 1 success and 1 failure. You need 3 successes to pull this off without damaging any of your equipment. Anybody else?
Doing
Thorn Whip is a cantrip.
To make sure that we're getting the right locations. And
I'm sorry, I didn't hear half of what you said.
I'm sorry, I can run a medicine check to make sure that we're getting the soft tissue and not the hard tissue.
Yeah, roll medicine. That's a great idea. That's kind of what I mean by these skill challenges. It's not always just hitting things with weapons. Use your abilities, use your skills. Think of things that you could use to contribute. Even you magic users can contribute things to make this easier. As long as you have 3 successes, it's fine.
This is normal or advantage?
Just a normal medicine check.
Woo!
Yeah, okay, that's definitely a success. So, as you guys are kind of moving around, you notice that Koz is kind of struggling with his magic whip. You're able to kind of discern, like, oh, you're getting caught on the back of his head. You need to move that down a little bit and kind of pull with this kind of pressure and really get into the soft, fleshy bit where we've already been working. So, whoever goes next is going to have a little bit of an easier time because of Axton's inspection of the corpse. So that's 2 successes. I'll tap Yuno. What would Yuno like to do to complete this skill challenge?
Yuno's going to think of arcane lore and take a nap. No. Yuno's skills aren't really... He's really good at investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you telekinetically adjust the head?
There is a rather large gash in this thing's head.
Yeah, and how much of the head has
been separated? I would say. Okay, so
I'm gonna try to magic yank its head completely off. Just
okay. Let's repeat the process that you did before with pulling on the creature's body.
That is a 18 plus 5, so 23.
All right. So with the fact that there's already like a 2 to 3 foot gash in this thing's neck, the spine thankfully is already separated thanks to Baranor popping it loose. You guys see Koza kind of dispelling his thorn whip, not having much luck, and Baranor kind of tugging on the wind razor, stuck in the meat. You see Yuno's eyes glow white for a moment, and he yanks backwards with his hand, and you hear this. And just this kind of wet, squishy, ripping sound as the head tumbles about 4 or 5 feet towards your group, separating from the body as this pale yellow glowing liquid spills out of the wound and onto the floor underneath this creature's body. The head is now free.
Yay.
Hey.
There's much rejoicing.
Yeah.
Yay.
Good job, guys. So enthusiastic.
Sorry, I'm not feeling well.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Can Akir check the horses that are still alive to see if they have rope?
Yep.
Or steal Sazi's rope when he gets up there?
Nope, you don't have any rope on the cart, but you do go over and you notice that the horses are still hooked up to there's like a downed tree, like a big log that you guys kind of stash the cart and the horses to. I believe you guys have, what do you have? You've got 2 horses, a pony. I think Yuno has a horse. Baranor and Maven do not have any horses at all, and you lost one. So that's what? You should have 4 horses, I believe. Four mounts.
like that.
Right. Yeah.
Or no, it was Koza's horse that died. So it's
Koza's horse died. Yeah, and Sazaro's horse. And one of the team horse. Yeah, because Sazi donated his horse to tie up to the cart.
So you should have 3 horses and a pony.
Awesome. I'm gonna collect those 3 horses and a pony and walk them safely to where that cave exit is, not close enough to where they might fall in. And I'm just gonna shout down for Sazi, like, "Yeah, tell the others to get as much rope as they can. I imagine we're not going to lug this thing up by hand."
I have 50 feet of rope down here.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Agir,
Yep.
before we move forward, Agir, I'm going to need you now. Wrangling the horses is not a problem. These guys have been with you for a few weeks now. It's learning to take your direction. You don't need to roll animal handling. However, you are 100 feet away at the mouth of this cave, so I need you to make a... I guess... Let's see here. I mean, what would a shout check be to see if they can hear you? I guess, you know what? How about Sazaros and Maven, being you're kind of at the back of the group. You guys give me perception checks to see if you can hear what he's saying, because he's kind of shouting at the top of this tunnel, kind of jumping up and down, trying to get your attention.
We had a different campaign. They made us do a performance check for a shout.
8.
All right, Sazaros, you can hear the dwarf at the top of the tunnel shouting at you. It's really hard to hear what he's saying, but all you can hear him say is, "Need rope, all, damn it, can you hear me?"
All right, so I'm gonna, since I'm somewhere about halfway down, I'm going to kind of lean down and with all of my ability yell out, "We need all the rope you can muster." And I'm yelling that down like to Maven.
Right.
That's
We're
good.
kind of like a little game of telephone here. He's at the top, I'm in the middle, he's at the bottom.
Akira's at the top going, "Why the fuck are they asking for mustard?"
And then Morp and Geek, with their jumping abilities, they can help kind of ferry the rope up.
Sure. Yeah, I'll roll their athletics with advantage because they live in these kinds of caves and they naturally have the ability.
For a second, I thought Barry was just going to shoot an arrow at me with a rope tied to it.
I mean, I could still do that if you want.
That's fine. That's fine.
Geek did a little better than Morp, but they both were able to kind of make their way up the tunnel and feed you guys this rope.
100 feet is nothing.
Delicious.
Right. So, the thing is this is hempen rope. Okay? And how much rope are we using? I kind of need to know exactly how much we're using here.
How much rope did we get? Did everyone give us their 50 feet?
I got 50.
I have 50.
I no longer have 50. I'm not sure where my 50 feet worth of rope went.
All right.
It's not in my inventory.
Does anyone have anything heavier? Chains.
Heavier than rope?
Perhaps.
Oh, shit. Didn't we buy chains for some reason? No. Maybe. I don't know anymore. I think I bought a net instead. Fuck.
The net could help.
Alright. But at any rate, Akira's gonna tie off, what's that knot where you can join 2 ends of rope? Not close.
You can bind 2 ends of rope.
Keep shank.
Yeah, keep chain. So he's gonna do that to the ropes.
I think.
He's gonna have, it's fine, I know how to do it, I don't know what it's called. But, so we're gonna have 2 lengths of 100-foot rope. We're gonna tie a bit off to the horses, and Atgear is gonna be also holding on to a length of rope, so it's gonna be him and the 4 horses of the apocalypse just trying to pull this thing up, and I'll trust the people downstairs to tie the rope off to the boulet pieces.
And if Yuno can use his telekinesis to help ease the load and help ease the strain on the rope.
Indeed.
All right, I'm going to say that since you thought to use a knot, which I'm seeing is an overhand bend knot, seeing as you saw fit to think about that, I'm going to give you a little bit of an advantage here. Not advantage on the roll, but you had the foresight to join ropes together with a specific knot instead of just tying a granny knot on it.
What was it called? The overhand
bend.
Overhand.
That's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that tying the ropes to the horses, having Yuno, if he wishes to participate, having Yuno telekinetically push this, have everybody kind of steady it on its way up. It's not an easy drag. You guys are dragging this thing up rough rock, loose gravel, scraping it along as it goes. I'm going to have Atgear give me a athletics check, and you can go ahead and add 2 to that, and you can use the horse's strength, which, if I'm not mistaken...
What's the horse's strength?
Looking that up right now.
I might be as strong as a horse, bro.
It's a +3.
Yep, same. All right, let's do it.
So if you guys are the same, just because I'm kind of homebrewing this a little bit, go ahead and add. Sorry?
Was Koza still a bear?
I think he. Well, can you cast spells as a bear? If he can.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll say you had to drop that to cast your Thorn Whip. So.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But you can go ahead and make a strength check as the for the horse, but you can add 3 to that. Whatever your strength roll is. Yep.
Oh, +3.
Oh, diggity.
Right, horses. Take note and pay attention. This is why we don't skip leg day. Don't look at me.
Never skip.
So, you guys all kind of listen as the head is being kind of lazily dragged, and it kind of rolls and wiggles and tilts from one side to the other, and kind of shifts and bangs from one side of the tunnel to the other. Doesn't quite get stuck. It's only about maybe 6-7 feet wide, and that's about how wide the tunnel is at its narrowest. It takes you about 20 to 30 minutes of really hard assisting this thing up the channel. A couple of you slip, a couple of you fall a few feet, scrape your knees, your ankle gets twisted here and there. It's not a pleasant experience whatsoever. But after about 20-30 minutes, you guys can smell the air getting chillier and fresher the higher up you get in this tunnel, until finally the head crests the tunnel's mouth. The horses relax a little. The head slumps to the right, and you all emerge out of the cave, which is pretty much just a hole in the ground, about maybe 150 feet away from the initial battle and the mouth of the land shark's lair. You have all emerged, a little worse for wear, but no serious injuries were incurred, and you now have the head of the land shark at your beck and call.
All right. Miller time.
Summoned ale.
Create food and drink.
What are we going to do with the rest of the carcass?
Hey, wait. If you conjure alcohol, eventually that alcohol goes away. Does that mean you can drink without a hangover?
No.
We'll just make note of it. I'm guessing it's about mid-afternoon now?
You guys, I would say midday, because you woke up, you traveled about a couple hours to get here, and you've been down here now for about an hour and a half, kind of figuring things out. Took you 20-30 minutes to lug this thing up here, so I'd say it's about 2 o'clock.
Well,
All right, so we need to get this thing on the cart then, I'm guessing.
Yes. We'll have to put it on the cart. Will the cart hold it? That's the problem.
That is a question.
Yeah, so we got to get it onto the cart.
Well, maybe we can get the horses to kind of help lift it. So we'll like tie some ropes around a tree, kind of like a pulley type thing.
Yeah. Is there any nearby shrubbery that would fit that bill?
Yeah, you don't need to roll perception for this. There are no standing trees in this immediate vicinity. You will have noticed in your incursion into the Shambling Fields that the ground is churned up on such a regular basis that the flora of this area doesn't really have a chance to grow very tall before being pushed over and killed by whatever creatures call this place home. So, no trees.
So we're going to need a combination of the horses and some heft behind to help haul this thing up.
At this point, you guys notice Geek and Morp kind of looking at you guys and looking at the cart and looking at you guys and looking at the cart, and they both instantly descend upon the drum that is in the cart presently that they have. And Morp kind of looks at you guys and says, "Help us lift. We use this. Call Tosar. Tosar, help."
Tosar.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll get that big old brontosaurus over here and have him haul it up.
So at this point, you guys look around in the distance, and you can see a small family of Tosar, about 3 or 4 of them, that are kind of keeping their distance from this kind of mess that you guys have made of the landscape. If you'll remember, one of them did get taken down by the land shark not too long before you guys engaged it in battle. And it seems like the surviving members of this little Tosar family are kind of, grieving or mourning their lost family member on the outskirts of this battle, maybe about 200 to 300 feet away, quite distance away. Morp begins tugging on the ropes, holding the side of this drum, and with a little help from all of you, you're able to get the drum down. And he kind of they start putting it together because they kind of took it down and broke it down into sort of a travel mode where they had the arm with the big hammer taken off and stowed properly. They kind of start putting it together, and you notice these 2 green gems on either side of this swinging hinge that once Geek kind of places them and they begin to glow, you see this big, huge arm just start to dum, and smack the hide of this leather drum, and you hear both of them just kind of whistle into the air. And it's very odd to you. You guys have never really been around tribal animal attracting techniques before. And it takes a little bit of coaxing, and you kind of see the Tosar look at each other, and after about 10-15 minutes, the younger of the 3 starts to saunter over, and younger of the 3, the thing is still about 50 feet tall, and kind of bends down and looks at you with curiosity and sees the head of the creature that killed one of its family members. Let me have, let's see here, just because it's fun. Let me have Koza. Why don't you go, Koza and Baranor, go ahead and make nature checks for me. Actually, if you prefer, you can do animal handling. One of those 2.
I will make.
Did I lose you guys?
No,
No.
sir.
No.
Oh, okay.
You rolled.
All right. All right, so after this young version, and you can see that it's young as it's slightly smaller than its compatriots. Its eyes are a little bigger, its head is a little bigger, its neck is perhaps a little shorter. Looks down at you and looks at the corpse of what's the remains of the land shark, and then looks back at you, and you notice that it gives sort of a subtle nod. almost in recognition of what's gone on here. Not as animalistic or base intelligence as you would have guessed based on what this thing looks like. Doesn't speak, but it does seem to perhaps, at least on a very basic level, understand that you killed this thing and seems to appreciate you for it.
Cool.
Yeah, and not long after, Mom and Dad show up, and they're a little more guarded, a little more protective. They kind of get in between you and the younger one, not in a threatening way, just as a way of saying, "We're here. This is our child. Just so you know that."
Mm-hmm. Anybody possibly can speak with animals to try to,
I'm looking.
help with this?
I already used that spell.
Oh no!
I will use my speed plant.
Hey Noah, we can barely hear you, so either unplug or kick yourself out of the room and come back in, because for the past 5 minutes I've been able to hardly hear you at all.
Ekir climb on back down that hole and cut off some of the Boulet's claws to give to Mork and Meep as trophies.
Yeah, sure.
No, is this better?
That's much better.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we still got the rope. We can chain it down there. It's going to be a lot easier for a single person to go down.
Yeah, I won't make you roll athletics. If you're using a rope and someone's holding it, that's fine. Yeah, but I will need you to give me 2 survival checks once you get down to the corpse.
I'm going to use my speech of beast and plant to ask the Tosar to, or at least ask if they'd be willing to help us haul this back to the Grung camp.
Okay, make a persuasion check, but do it with advantage, as these things did not expect anybody to be able to communicate with it, but they also noticed that you killed the predator that, frankly, is responsible for the deaths of many of their kind. All right, Akir, you are able to remove one of its claws. The other one just kind of, you kind of botched that job pretty good. In your attempts to remove the other claw, it just kind of your knife kind of digs into its bone a little too deeply, and it sort of crumbles and becomes kind of useless. But you were able to remove one of its, and by claw I mean its entire foot, like its front foot. And mind you, this thing is massive. It's about 1.5 feet across. It has these large, stumpy, knuckle-like claws, and it's kind of got like a 3-toed foot. And you just kind of remove that whole thing. And in the process of trying to get the other one, you just realize it's too much work, and kind of give up halfway through. Your persuasion kind of doesn't really work. They don't really understand what you want them to do. They're not intelligent enough to understand common, even in their own head. But they do know you want them to assist you. They're just having trouble understanding exactly what you want.
Well,
so
Can I try through like pantomime?
yeah, give me a performance check.
It says in the description that they don't have to
Oh my god!
understand me. They don't have to understand the language that I'm speaking.
Yeah, I know that. But they also don't really... You're not explaining yourself very well to them. You're like, help us with the head. And they're like, you want us to eat it? Like, they don't really get what you want them to do. And
Okay,
Sasseros, like, you don't... You're trying to... You're like pointing at the head and pointing at the cart, and they're just kind of looking at each other and looking at you like, you're lost on me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, yes, you have a cart, and yes, you killed the beast. We thank you for that, but we really don't know why you're jumping up and down.
Geek, Morp, you guys got any ideas?
Yeah, I'll have you. They do speak common, and they kind of see you struggling, and so we'll have them see here. Oh, yay! So Morp, being the stronger of the two, he just kind of grabs a hold of one of the ropes once Akir returns, and climbs up the top of the Tosar all the way and wraps a rope around it. And you see the Tosar kind of look at at Morp like, what are you doing? And you see Morp, he grabs a pouch from around his neck and pulls out what looks like these glowing sprinkles and just kind of massages the bottom of Morp's throat. Okay, and after a couple seconds, his whole the whole bottom of his throat, kind of where the frog kind of do that breathing thing, he starts to bellow a little bit, and it starts to sound eerily similar to the Tosar's just normal animalistic sounds. And then the Tosars just kind of look at each other like, oh, and they lower their heads almost 10 feet above the head of the boulet and allow Morp to slide down fireman style down the rope, and he hands the rope back to you and he says, tie around head, Tosar will lift.
Whoa, that's some amazing dust.
What would you describe that language as, just out of curiosity?
Tosar.
Okay, all right. I know
so they do have a
primordials, though.
language.
Well, it's more like it's kind of like, you recognize this, Koza, as like a portable speak with animals kind of spell. Like you rub this on your vocal cords and they adapt to whatever means of communication the animal that you're trying to communicate uses. It's not a language per se, it's more like an instinctual guttural kind of moan that it's kind of like a cat. Like cats have different meows for different things they want to do, and dogs have different barks, but they're not like saying get off my property. It's more like a tone of voice kind of thing.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll say, getting this show on the road here, I'll say within about 15 minutes, you guys are able to tie this thing, with the ropes, and the Tosar lifts it up, and kind of like an overhead crane, you're kind of able to like direct it and shift the cart underneath it a little bit to the point where you're able to lower the head. I will have to dock you guys some speed, because at this point the cart is at maximum capacity. No one will be able to sit in the cart. You will only be able to have one driver, and everyone else will have to either be on foot or share a mount.
I can turn into a riding horse for a number of hours if anybody needs an extra horse.
Now, is it still Atgear and I, or not Atgear, but Axton and I sitting in the front?
It would be, but you can only have one of you in the driver's seat.
Okay.
And I would say, based on the fact that you are much taller and heavier than Axton, then you're kind of understanding that it probably needs to be Axton if you want to have any chance of moving. I mean, this thing is heavily laden with weight right now.
Gotcha.
Are Mork and company gonna come to the city with us, or are they going back home?
You see them kind of hop on. One of them hops on Atgear's horse. One of them hops on Yuno's horse, and they kind of point you in the direction towards their tribe.
So I guess we're taking them back. I think we also owe it to their village too, so that they can know that the beastie's been slain.
Well, we also have a reward coming from them.
This is true.
So, not to be the rainer on people's parades, but there's a bunch of tiny frog people armed with toothpicks for spears, sitting on a mother lode of precious metals. And I know that I'm the one saying that you're going to assume the worst. What I'm trying to say is, if word gets out about what they have, chances are they're not going to have it for much longer.
And we don't tell anybody about it.
It sounds simple enough to me. Nobody's going to know it.
Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, it would be nice to have some of that shiny metal too, but...
Well, yeah, we're going to have our own.
Yeah, we're going to get a collection of it, but I think Akir's right. I think we should make sure that no one else knows about it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or potentially, and hear me out, if we can find a way for them to actually mine this thing, I don't know about you, but a tribe full of people that can jump 60 feet in the air armed with crossbows, I don't think anyone would be coming after them for some time. Maybe we help them form up a better militia at some point.
I mean, time allowing, we don't have time right now.
Yeah, we'll put it on the list.
Deal.
Yeah.
List it is.
You see, at this point, because Morph is literally on Atgear's horse, or pony, he just kind of turns and looks at Atgear and gives you what could be considered the most humblest nod of appreciation for thinking of their well-being, because they didn't really stop to think about the value of what's in their cave. They don't really, you guys never noticed any of them carrying jewelry made of platinum or making any use of the platinum in their cave at all. But meeting you all, and the fact that they kind of know, that, you know, you get the sense that they've met people before. They realize that this is something that is dangerous. And the fact that you're thinking of them, you just see Morp just kind of lean back and rest his head on Atgear's chest a little and just kind of pat his leg like, thanks, man. It's really cool of you to think of us.
No one look at me.
You're not crying.
It's raining. I hate this rain.
He's got shit in his eyes.
Damn allergies. Well, I've taken the opportunity to become attuned to my weapon. Or I would
you could have done that. You definitely could have done that while you were on the cart.
Okay, cool.
I'll say that that you were, as you were kind of really looking over this this new sword, this new weapon, the Anthem's Edge, you almost get caught up in its kind of genetic history. You feel yourself being surrounded by several different presences, several different, not people, not spirits or ghosts. You don't hear voices in your head like Atgear did, but you kind of feel yourself being ingratiated into a very short list of people who have possessed this weapon. And you feel yourself at the end of this list, and almost as if you can see a long tapestry of woven tales that this sword has scribed. You find yourself at the blank end of a long piece of paper, eager to fill it in with your own deeds, and you do find yourself attuned to Anthem's Edge. But after about 2-3 hours of travel, of hard travel, and it's hard travel. You guys are constantly keeping an eye on the cart, making sure the wheels aren't about to fall off. It's a sturdy cart. You guys took this off some bandits a long time ago back in Brackenshire. It's a sturdy enough cart. It's used for transporting what looked like crates of goods. It can definitely handle, 2,000, 3,000 pounds, no problem, but it's a struggle. And you guys are constantly keeping an eye on the wheel axles, making sure you're not throwing a wheel here and there. It's making a lot of creaking noises. You get the sense that perhaps it's going to maybe need some repairs once you get back to town, just to kind of replace some of the moving parts that are really taking a beating on this trip. But you finally make it to the Grung village, outlined by what you remember to be a large stone spire marked with tribal markings and I almost said graffiti, but different types of lettering along it. Looks kind of like this. You finally get there, and you find that Morpin and Geek, they hop down off their respective mounts, and Geek kind of sticks around. He's sort of like looking at the head and poking it with his spear a little bit. Morp disappears into the hole, and after about 10 minutes, you hear like a very light tapping, rumbling sound as dozens of these Grung creatures spill out of the hole onto the outset, and they really can't believe their eyes. they're surrounding the cart and surrounding your horses, and some of the little children, only about a foot or so tall, they have to be lifted up by their parents to see inside the cart, and you just hear this murmuring of kind of a peeping sound and a chirping sound amongst these tribal creatures that they can't believe this creature that has harrowed and harassed their tribe for years. Its head lies in your cart, covered in its own yellowish blood. Many of them kind of scoop pieces of its meat away and just kind of look at it and show each other, and they're kind of crawling all over it and poking it and kind of jabbing it in the eye and making sure that it's dead, not quite believing what they're seeing. At which point you see the chief, who he kind of descends from his litter up on, being carried by a couple other Grung. This big giant feathery headdress and a large adorned scepter in his hand, hops down, his big green bulbous eyes looking at everything, looking at you. They all just kind of take it all in, and you hear the chief finally break the silence and the awe and say, "You have killed the big dog. You are to be remembered. Scribes, you will make painting on walls of cave depicting the Crown Collector's deeds on this day, the day we shall call the Crown Collector's Day. You have saved us. No more shall the big dog eat the Grung. No more shall the big dog's children harass our hunting parties. You have given us another chance at life, big folk. The big folk have saved us all. To the Crown Collectors!" And you hear, "Woo!" And just all kinds of cheering and applause as they all just they try to lift you up above their shoulders. It doesn't work. And they kind of, you see the little tiny kids just kind of moving around and hooting and hollering. It's kind of spooking the horses a little bit. You see the horses start to stamp their feet a little bit. The Grung don't seem to mind. They kind of keep their distance from the horses, but it is an eruption of celebration. And you see the chief kind of whisper into a couple of the larger security or guards of the group, and they disappear into the mouth of the cave, which is, about maybe 6-7 feet wide. It's a little bigger than it looks in that picture. But after about 10 minutes of you just kind of, like, the little kids just start crawling all over your shoulders and kind of playing with your hair and patting you on the back, and some of the soldiers and some of the villagers just kind of like, they're jumping up and down around you, and they're slapping the head of the big dog and kind of like getting the yellow paint on their hands, and you see them start like touching their chests and touching each other's face to kind of mark themselves with the blood of this creature, and as a way of remembering what has happened, what really the impact of this act that you guys have done for these people. And as you guys are kind of, looking around like, all right, it might be time to get moving, you see 3 of these large Grung. When I say large, they're like 4 feet tall if they're a foot, dragging what looks like a very meager cart with no wheels. It's almost like a sled, and they're pulling a large collection. Looks like it could probably fit, but I'll say, just because it's what I'm looking at, the size of an oven, this pile of shiny rocks towards your cart. You have done the Grung a great service, Crown Collectors. For that, you shall reap the rewards of the cave. Take shiny rocks with you, and remember the Grung. Thank you all for what you have done for our people." And there's another eruption of applause and cheers. And you look, and there is a pretty decent-sized pile of platinum ore. Now, mind you, it's not solid platinum. it's platinum ore, so you can see heavy, thick veins of platinum and shiny, glittering crystals of platinum running through these rocks. But you get the sense that if you were processing these, you could definitely make a pretty penny off of them. And they just start piling them into the cart alongside the head, and you can kind of see the cart just kind of sag a little bit more, not terribly. You don't see anything break, you don't see anything creak too bad. Yeah, we're gonna say that you've gotten yourself about 300 pounds of platinum ore. If anybody wants to write that down, I know you guys. I don't know if you have like a community inventory or anything, but that's what you've got. You got about 300 pounds of platinum ore.
I've got a question for the DM.
Sure.
Are there any like large trees outside of the cave?
So the way this area is as you've been traveling for a few hours to get here, you've noticed that there are more and more larger plants, and you can see in the distance the edge of like a small, I don't want to say a small forest, but kind of a small wooded area. And at the center of it is kind of a taller tree than most. Looks like kind of an evergreen tree, like a sequoia or a large spruce tree. You don't know how big it is yet, but it is rather tall. That's the only big tree you see in the area. It's about maybe a quarter mile away in the distance.
I'd like to visit that before we like leave the area.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else would like to do before moving on?
I will take the opportunity to say my farewells to both Mork and to Geek and to thank them for their invaluable assistance.
You are called Stazaros. Yes?
Yes.
You see Morp. You see Morp kind of drag Geek away from the Boulet's head, and he's just kind of like plastering him. He's like rolling around in the blood. It's kind of macabre if it wasn't yellow, but it kind of matches his skin color, and he's just kind of goofing around with what looks like his friends. He kind of drags Geek away from that group and looks up at you and says, "Stazaros and Atgeir and Koza, and Yuno, and Axton, and Maven, and Baranor. You all will be, from this moment, members of the Grung." And they kind of take their hands, and they're all wet with blood, and they kind of, with their little webbed fingers, kind of put it on your arm, and you've got like this. You've now got this little handprint, each of you, all 7 of you, this little handprint of a Grung in Boulet blood. I mean, it's tribal. It's not anything that's going to stick around for very long, but it definitely means something to you as they touch your shoulders. It's kind of their hug. It's like a handshake to them, and you can kind of feel that as they kind of give you a subtle nod and step away. And you see a couple of the other kids kind of move and walk in front of them, and yeah, it's just this nice little moment where you have liberated this village from a great threat and will always be in their memory, and they will tell their children and their children's children about the time the big folk came and drove off the big dog. And it's just something that you don't really know how long it'll stick with you, but it definitely is going to remain in your mind and in your hearts for the foreseeable future. As for all the things you guys have done, both good, both bad, selfish and selfless, this was a good thing. And it feels good to now have this under your belt as something you've done.
All right. I will also take the opportunity at your suggestion, taking those claws and handing them to both Geek and Mork, and I will tell the epic tale of Mork and Geek and their bravery and their ingenuity in helping us slay the Boulet.
Yeah, at this point, you kind of see Morp and Geek kind of like take the claws, and they're so big. I mean, they can barely lift these things. Even though it's one hand, but you've sort of separated, and you're on your journey. You've sort of separated into individual claws, and they both kind of hold them high above their heads, and you can hear them talking in Grung as if to say, "Yeah, that's it. Recognize we were there. You weren't. What were you doing?" And just kind of having a little moment amongst their fellow Grung about how they assisted in the destruction of this great beast of burden. But yeah, you guys kind of figure on where you're going to go next. Was there anything
I
else?
also want to like talk to the Grung and say, like, as you can see, like, this boule has very metal-like qualities, very similar to the metal around your cave. To prevent this from ever happening, you guys might want to consider removing as much of this metal as you can.
You see him kind of look amongst each other as if to kind of nod and say, you know, big folk might have point. Maybe we need to mine this stuff like big folk did before. And a couple of them are like, no, that's not our way. And a couple of them are like, yeah, he might have a point. You see him starting this conversation amongst each other that kind of ripples throughout the crowd. Some of them seem to agree with you. Some of them are vehemently against it. It goes against tradition. And it just seems like perhaps you've instilled an idea worth discussing. You're not exactly sure how it's going to turn out, but at least they're talking about it. And you guys, you guys spend a couple hours at the least at the Grung village, kind of surrounding the entranceway to their tall stone spire, just sort of taking in this moment and spending a little time with them. Maven will remember the time she spent talking about the Dawnfather with the children. Those children have found you again, and have a little bit more discussion about the Dawnfather. And perhaps in doing so, you've instilled a bit of determination for them to pursue further worshiping the Dawnfather in that way. And it's just an interesting way to ingratiate yourselves and leave your mark on a people that you probably never would have seen before, having not had this opportunity.
Are there any like kind of shaman-like Grung, or like any magic centric?
Oh, you walked off to commune with a tree.
That wasn't right now. That was just before we like leave for the area.
Okay.
Yeah, there are definitely shamans that you notice them by their heavily adorned staves and their headdresses that kind of dangle with bones and beads from the top of their heads. They got like horns and stuff. They're dressed much differently. They wear kind of almost like a kilt-like dress, kind of set up instead of like the loincloths that most of these creatures are adorned with. And they're kind of poking at the head a little bit. They're curious too. They're a little more trepidatious than some of their more adventurous younger types. But yeah, you see some shamans, sure.
I would like to go up to one and kind of cast Druidcraft to make a small wooden holy symbol of the Moonweaver. And I will give it to one of the shamans, and I'll just kneel down and say, if you ever need help from us again, just put a small prayer into this, and I will be able to hear it, and we will be on our way to help you as soon as we can.
One of them reaches out to take it, and he doesn't look enamored by it. He looks kind of contemplative, like he's looking at it. He looks at it. He looks at you. He looks at his other fellow shaman, and then they start to kind of like take it from each other and kind of like play a game of, no, he gave it to me. No, he meant to give it to me. And you see them kind of fight over it a little bit until finally they settle into who's going to hold on to it. And they kind of look at you and say, we will pray to your God if we ever need your help again. Thank you, large blue furry creature.
You may call me Koza.
Koza. Yes.
Oh, a large blue furry creature has a nice ring to it.
And they just kind of stare at it and not really know what to make of it. They don't really know how to hold it. Is it you hold it upside down like this, or they're just kind of looking at it?
After that, I will start to mosey on over to the large tree.
It's like a quarter of a mile away.
I think we can all use this as an opportunity to take our leave.
Okay, was there anything anybody else wanted to do in the vicinity of the Grung? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Looks like 4 of you are muted, so don't know if that's by design or not.
What do you normally eat? Like, is there like vegetation, any type of fruits or berries or anything like that they're eating?
Well, you don't know this because you stayed topside while they went underneath, while they went below. But I mean, you notice that a couple of them have what look like they're kind of eating small lizard creatures on a stick. There are also kind of a couple of them look like they set up kind of an outdoor gathering in this space around the spire. Looks like somebody struck up a small fire and they're kind of roasting some local shrub berries. So they looks like they consume pretty much the same stuff that you guys do, just perhaps in slightly different ways.
Okay.
So as you guys kind of mount up and kind of give one last wave and say your goodbyes and pat the little guys on the head, they kind of gather and you see them all kind of. Yeah, sure.
One last thing. I give Morp and Geek each, in addition to their claws, I give them each a silver piece.
Ah, yeah.
That has like a crown, probably like a crown or something stamped on them.
Sure.
So they can remember us.
Honorary collectors.
They kind of take it and they look at it and they look at you and you can tell that, I mean, they're kind of turning it over in their hand. You can tell that they have no real monetary use for this. That's not what draws them to it. Yeah, they kind of look at it with a sentimental wonder of, this is going to be my, at least for the foreseeable future, this is going to be my most cherished possession because it will remind me of you and what you all did for us. And so you see them kind of hold it and clasp it in their hands and bring it close to their heart, and they give you a very subtle nod. And as you depart, you see a group of them kind of waving at you as you leave. Kind of looks like that.
Oh, how sweet!
All right, and all our hearts for 3 seconds that day.
That's right.
So damn cute.
You leave the Grung village in your wake, and you slowly see them. They're starting to kind of throw a little party on the outskirts of their spire, and the noise kind of it trembles the ground less and less the further away you get. And you see a couple of little hunters kind of they're kind of following you, maybe 50 to 60 feet behind, not really keeping tabs, but just kind of like, those are the ones that helped us, and I want to look at them as long as I can and remember what they looked like, and it's just kind of the outskirts of this village, just sort of staying in touch as long as they can possibly go. But eventually the horizon kind of swallows them up, as it does all things when you leave, and you make your way towards what looks like a small wooded area about a quarter a mile to a half a mile away, and the horses start to have to weave in and out of these trees, these wooded areas, and you come to what looks like about like a very tall evergreen tree with thick needles, and it towers above everyone. It's probably maybe 200 to 300 feet tall, just a gargantuan tree, and its trunk at its bottom looks like it's about 10 feet wide, and just an immense tree in the midst of this wooded area. And
Okay.
you've made it.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, that was it. You've made it here.
I would like to activate my tiara and do whatever it takes to kind of add this tree to my collection of kind of waypoints.
Okay. It requires that you touch the tree, so you kind of dismount from your horse. And why don't you go ahead and, this is funny, but go ahead and give me a general intelligence check, Koza.
Sure. Oh, wait, hang on. I didn't mean to make that with advantage.
19 it is.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter, but I didn't mean to make it with advantage.
So you are kind of putting together how wide this tree is, the fact that this may suffice to allow entry with the cart, but you also know that this portal only stays open for 6 seconds.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to activate a portal. I'm just trying to make it so that I can teleport here later.
Ah, I see. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you touch the tree and kind of make a subtle remembrance of where this place is and how close it is to the Grung village, and you get the feeling that you've sufficiently added this to your collection of possible portals.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have a tree near closer to Dainne?
I mean, there's tons of trees that you guys.
That Koza has.
Yeah, how many times a day or how many times per long rest can you make these portals?
One time.
We could all get through in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we got a running start.
Sure. And then Koza closes in behind us.
Yeah, I'll say that Koza definitely had the presence of mind in every major city to find and touch a large tree that could suffice as a portal.
We do like a Harry
I would
Potter
say he's got one.
Harry Potter 9 3/4 shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's just get this up to 88 and let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll make a portal to Dainne.
All right, I'm gonna need Axton, who is up on the cart, to give me an animal handling check, just to make sure that the horses can giddy up and go. Hey, that's pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Nope.
All right. So, as Koza kind of stands to the side of this tree, you see him kind of close his eyes, and this green gem in the center of his silver and platinum filigreed tiara that's kind of been woven into his hair. This green gem just glows brightly, and you see him create kind of a Doctor Strange circle with his hand, and the tree, there's a slit that forms in the center of the tree's trunk that shines with green light, and it instantly widens, and you can see this swirling energy. You got 6 seconds. Axton is the first with the cart. He kind of snaps the reins right as Koza forms the portal, and takes off with the cart and the horses, and they disappear into the portal. You got about 4 seconds left.
Everybody else are dashing
Everyone
in.
go.
Yeah, oh, yep.
Acting up.
Easily done. The group enters into the portal, and Koza being the last one, you can feel the energy dissipate. You kind of give one last split-second glance back at the Grung village and disappear into the portal. You're all pulled, rushing forward with this energy kind of clutching to your shoulders and your legs and your waist and your head, pulling you forward an impossible distance. As this green light kind of washes over you and snaps you, boom, you land on your feet, kind of out of breath a little bit, a little off balance, and you can see Axton kind of struggling to maintain the reins as the horses in the cart kind of bandy about a little bit and bump along a rather rough portion of a forested area, but you've all made it. You are now back at the outskirts of the city of Dainne.
Cool. Anybody know where we need to go?
To Sir Hargrove's.
Yeah, we need to go see him.
I'll go to say, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start
As you
trying
guys,
to
yeah,
get the cart over there.
sure. As you guys are kind of getting your bearings, you notice that, and we're going to say that you guys were able to, on your 2 to 3 hour journey, if you guys wish, you guys were able to use another short rest. So if you guys wanted to heal anything additionally, or if you have the means of recovering spell slots, I'm granting you guys another short rest.
Another short rest wouldn't do much for me. So.
Okay. But, yeah, you guys kind of emerge from this this wooded area. And mind you, you emerge from what wasn't a complete tree. It was actually, or a tall tree. It was actually kind of a short, stubby, wide-trunked kind of bush. Very strange, but very prevalent here in this part of the world. Just has a very thick trunk, but doesn't grow very high. And as you emerge from this small wooded area, you can smell what smells like cooked meat and fresh earth, tilled earth. And as you look around, you see, and you'll remember when you left Dainne to go north to find the land shark, you'll remember that the outskirts of Dainne were being constructed to accommodate the Ellington Classic. There were kind of posts being dug into the earth and tents being erected, but none of it was finished. At this point, however, you see this in front of you.
Well,
They were
It is a
fast
proper...
Wow.
Yeah, it is now a proper tourney grounds. You see that many sections of the tall grass has been cleared, and tents have been erected, and people have been gathering now for a couple days. There are, you can see now, if you were to use this picture and turn around 180 degrees, you would see the city of Dainne before you, with the villages and small villages that kind of surround the city walls. You see carts and wagons and people on horseback coming in and out of the area. You as you enter the fields, you see knights kind of not getting into their armor because by your math,
a few days away, right?
Yeah, you're still a couple days away from when the Ellington Classic officially starts, but you see people kind of like practicing sword fighting with trainers and training swords, and just like you really see you can feel the spirit, and there's a lot of pre-game going on with people cooking turkey legs and handing out ale, and people kind of having a little bit of a pre-game party before the Ellington Classic, and you see these two larger than you've ever seen, dark black wagons, just kind of moving their way through the crowd towards the city. You see circus wagons that are leaving the city and making their way out to the field. There's just a lot of heavy traffic going on right now. More so than you remember when you left, that's for sure.
yeah. Well, gentlemen, let's take care of our business, and then let's join the
Go have
party.
some fun.
All right, so where are you guys going?
We're going to head to the main gate. The main gate of town to get in and go to the Hargrove estate.
Okay. As you kind of stand there for a few minutes, just kind of eyeing the situation, maybe even kind of gauging where you guys would like to post up as sort of a base of operations per se. You just kind of take in the scene for a few minutes and talking amongst yourselves. I bet that's where the archery is going to be. You turn your carts and horses around and start gingerly making your way towards the outskirts of Dainne, where you've got these little villages. There's little villages that kind of surround the city. You're making your way towards it. You can see a couple of blackguard here, a couple of blackguard there. A lot of foot traffic. You hear people shouting, fresh bread, fresh fish. There's kind of market stalls that look like they've been hastily erected to kind of accommodate the area here, and it's looking like it's going to shape up to be a pretty decent kind of carnival-like atmosphere. And you kind of making your way through, and as you get a little closer to some of these outskirt villages, you hear kind of a commotion. You're not exactly sure. It sounds like people kind of being riotous, and just kind of people maybe perhaps getting a little out of hand, but it's not something that really feels natural to you. You're not sure what it is. You hear a woman scream, and it's it's in the distance away. It's not really too concerning. Perhaps there's a fight brewing or something like that. I need everybody to give me a group perception check, if you would, please.
I couldn't care less about it by the looks of it.
Oh,
yeah, you're mostly just trying to...
Oh my god, that's 3 fails.
Dang it!
You're mostly just trying to keep the cart in one piece.
All failed to. We're all too busy. We're all too
what
busy
the fuck
crying.
were we looking at?
We're distracted with everything else.
We're too busy crying
You're like,
about the little
turkey
Grung village.
egg.
We're like, finally we're gonna be able to clear our name. Finally we're gonna get rewards. Finally we're gonna do
I'm Mr. Grung. I was of average height for once in my life.
You're above average height.
Well, I'll say this. Axton and Atgeir, Koza, you are all very kind of just focused on getting the cart there in one piece. Maven, Baranor, Sazaros, something about what's going on up front is kind of disturbing you a little bit.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So Baranor, Sazaros, Maven, you start to see people as you're in this wide open thoroughfare. People start scattering away and running in your direction, running away from Dainne. You also see them running to the left, to the right. Some kind of chaos is happening ahead of you. Not something that you expected in a joyous celebration as getting ready for the Ellington Classic. And that's when you see the Black Guard turn their tails and run towards Dainne, their swords out. They start pulling their spears to the ready. And just as you can start to make out what they're seeing, you see 2 of them dive towards somebody stumbling, reaching out with their hands, and they stab this creature to the ground, repeatedly stabbing this humanoid creature. As far as you could tell, they're attacking a citizen. You have no idea what's going on. But the closer you get, the more you see more of these stumbling, slowly walking individuals diving towards running civilians and tearing into their flesh with their mouths, ripping away blood and just spraying viscera all over the street. The entire city is in chaos. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Shit.
Well, we did hear about the undead before we left, so.
That is correct.
Well, damn.
Oops, I forgot to wait for the count.
Damn it, I did too.
It's okay.
I have to put my character on the thing first.
Yeah, let me, you guys are going to be at the bottom of the map. I'm going to remove all of this. Probably should have done it already, but I didn't. Okay, dokie.
Yeah.
You see before you a sea of chaos. There are dozens of these creatures spilling out from what looks like the northeastern corner of the map.
Maybe.
And what about Maven? Is she sticking around?
I've gotta.
We have to share a computer.
Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to roll for these guys. Now, there are many of these undead creatures, and they are attacking civilians actively. They're also actively fighting off what look like 5 or 6 Black Guard. The areas of the map that you can't see, it's simply because it's being obscured by the buildings. If you guys move around the map, I'll reveal more of it. You hear in the distance a deep bellowing roar in a language that you don't really understand. Does anybody speak Abyssal?
No.
I think I do. Let me check.
I missed that Duolingo.
Yeah, I do.
Sorry.
Maven, you speak Abyssal?
I do.
Okay, Maven, you hear barely. You can almost, it's almost that you can't, it's so far away that you can't understand them, but you hear the words, my children. You hear the words, feast on. You hear the words, for the master. That's all you can really hear, but it's far away. It's too far for you to really make out exact sentences on what's going on. Let's see, that was a pretty good roll.
That what you want?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not good.
Okay.
And one more. Ooh, that's real good. Okay. All right. Who are we missing? We're missing Maven. Let's put her on the map.
She's on the map. 24
Let's give her a
initiative.
turn. Perfect.
She just rolled it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get rid of this one then. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Is that everybody?
I think
I
so.
believe so.
It looks like everybody to me. Let's go ahead and descend these.
Is anyone going at the same
All right.
time? Yeah.
And let's do.
Versus the 12. You're 20?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right. So, who is first?
What's the name of this?
Excuse me.
So, what you see, Maven, is a group of stumbling creatures. Some are armed, some are not armed. Some are armored, some are not. Some are regular-looking humanoids. Some are really tall, orcish-looking creatures. They're being attacked by... They're attacking civilians. They're also attacking Black Guard that are up in this area. But you are able to react as quickly as you can. You hop down from your horse or the cart, and you're able to react. You're a little far away from everything, but you have the run of the place. What would you like to do?
Okay. I should be used to this by now. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is just some standard stuff. Okay. I think probably this person is going to be the easiest way to get to a tournament. Let's stand there. I'm going to take just wings at it with my sword.
Okay. You approached a creature with flesh hanging off of its bones. It looks like it's been dead for quite some time. Or undead, as far as you can tell. It's not fully skeletonized. It's not carrying any weapons. It just looks like its bones and its joints are kind of rocking back and forth as it hobbles its way towards you.
Excuse me. 25 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
7 damage.
All right. I should get the notebook out, huh?
And
7 damage. Okay.
And then I'm going to do 1 unarmored strike as my...
Did you say something and I missed it? All I've got are 7 damage on the first strike.
Okay, the second strike was 26 to hit
Oh yeah, that hit.
and 7 damage. And then the unarmored
Okay.
strike was 12 to hit.
12 to hit. That hits.
Nice.
They're slow. They're squishy. They're not hard to hit at all.
Cool.
So what was the damage for that one?
Okay. Don't do that. Okay. Another 7. I rolled 3 2s.
All right. Okay, it's still standing.
Okay. I think I'll stay there for now.
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right. What's the deal with this square that keeps showing up?
I'm mapping something out.
Oh, my bad. I took it back. Took it down before.
Yes, I know. That's why I have to
Okay.
keep doing it.
Okay, well, I'll delete it one more time because it's funny. Just kidding.
So, is going to cast slow. And I'm going to target 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, those are blackguard.
Oh, okay. So then
The ones in white are the good guys, or the ones we don't want to kill.
Well,
I mean, you wanna kill 'em,
blackguard's
it's
not
up to
really
you.
high on my priority list. Okay.
Right.
So then, is going to target this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, which should be
So all
1,
the guys
2,
in the
3,
square.
4, 5, 6. Except this guy. This guy right here, he's left out.
not
So
affected.
all of those other guys need to make a Wisdom saving throw.
This will be funny. Okay.
And on failure, DC 16.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay, one of them succeeds. We'll say this guy succeeds. That's the zombies and the skeleton. Skeleton got a natural 2, so he fails. The armored skeleton, he gets a natural 19 minus 2 is 17, so this guy succeeds. And what looks like an undead orc, he got a, he got a 16, but it's minus 1, so he fails. So okay, so everybody but this guy and this guy, rest of them fail.
So anyone that fails, their speed is halved. They take a -2 penalty to AC and Dex saving throws, and they can't use reaction. And it can either use an action on its turn or a bonus action, but not both. And it cannot make more than one attack per turn.
Understood.
And they have to make a saving throw each turn.
Got it. All right, well done. Yeah, you've slowed this entire group pretty much.
And then as a bonus action, is going to shove this guy with his mind.
All right, that's a strength check.
Strength. Yep.
Or strength save. Sorry.
Yep. Strength save DC 16.
All right, that's a total of 6.
So he gets pushed back 5 feet.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I never liked him anyway.
Okay. All right, good job. That was great. All right.
That'll end my turn.
All right, Sazaros, you're up with Baranor on deck.
All right. Let's see. I am going to, first of all, move. I am going to come up here. And I'm going to try out my shiny new blade. A melee attack.
All right. And point of order, Axton, don't forget, you got a +2 on your first melee strike.
So it was a 13 attack.
Oh, that hits. He's got Ken, that's a -2 to their AC, right?
Correct. Yes. So anyone that's affected has a -2 on their AC.
All right, I need to make a note of that. Yeah, you definitely hit Sazaros. So that is 5 piercing. That's 9 damage total. That's on a different one, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, and as you strike, you notice that whistling sound as you swing the blade is reminiscent of the sound it made when it was jammed inside of the land shark's mouth. Although this one is a lot more melodic. It sounds a little more harmonious with the mood of your want to destroy this evil creature, and it seems to just kind of be accompanying your swing with kind of like a kind of like if you were to like slam your fingers on the chord, kind of a major chord on a piano, just like a jing, kind of like an interesting musical swiping sound.
All right. And I'm going to use my bonus action. I'm going to turn towards Axton, and with some wonderful, encouraging words, grant him a die of bardic inspiration.
All right. Do you want to activate one of your dies to boost it using your new weapons ability, or are you saving that?
I'm saving that.
All right.
With 1 die of inspiration for Axton.
Got it. Okie dokie. Baranor, you're up.
All right. I'm going to move on over here. And using the same initiative, Luna's going to come with me. And I'm going to attack once with the Wind Razor at the skeleton guy here.
Okay.
I can't even see if that hits.
That hits.
Yeah, sorry, I have something covering up the... That hits? Okay.
Yep, it just hits.
Alright, Wind Razor damage.
Not just hits. You got it.
Okay. And... Alright. And then I'm going to command Luna attack, and because she has pack tactics and is within 5 feet of me, she gets a advantage on her attack.
Cool.
So she barely hits 2. And another knock. And that'll be our attacks. And move.
Alright, so...
It's 18 total to that skeleton.
Is there a reason that you were at advantage when you attacked?
Okay, so for the bite attack, Luna is
No. I was thinking about the Wind Razor. Yeah, she's got advantage because she's with you. Got it.
pack tactics, yeah.
Okay, 9 and 9.
Yeah, Wind Razor was
They're
just a straight roll.
attacking the skeleton with a spear. Okay, yeah, it drops in a pile of bones. Gone. All right, good job. Anything else?
No, I'm done.
All right. So, the one that Maven attacked is going to make a slam with its two rotting fists. And that is... that's a 6. This guy is going to move up. Hold on. Yeah. Why can't I move you? There we go. This guy is going to move up and begin feasting on this corpse right here. Where else are we here? There's one guy over here. He's going to use his movement and begin fighting with this blackguard right here. This one is going to make a slam attack against this blackguard, and he's going to miss as well. Zombies, man, they're not super effective. I wouldn't recommend using them as a cannon fodder. Alright, now moving on to this other guy. This one is slowed, and they have a speed of... Oh boy, he can only move 10 feet. Maybe that's all he'll need. Yeah, he's adjacent. He's going to attack you, Sazaros, with his slam attack. Not great. That's a 11. Not going to hit you, of course.
Nope.
This one, however, is going to move up to Maven and strike at Maven with his spear that he's holding in his hand. That's a natural 1. Holy crap, I'm rolling low today, guys. What the heck's going on?
Another big miss.
And then we're going to have at this point, we're going to have the blackguard do some stuff. So this guy's going to move up here, and he's going to swipe with his sword. That's a natural 15. So that's going to be 6 points of damage to that guy. Oh boy, this is a lot to keep track of. I got this, guys. Promise. This guy's going to move up and make a slam attack on him for a natural 20. Okay. About this time, you guys hear kind of a stomping sound somewhere in this direction, but you don't see anything yet. And that's going to end that round of zombies' turn. Atgeir is next with some of the creatures after him.
Alright, let's do something dumb. Atgeir is going to use his cunning action to dash past this guy, who can't use a reaction because he's slowed, if I listen to the wizard properly.
That's correct.
Good old you-know. And he has his shield, and he's got his badass dagger, and he is going to attack this slow motherfucker.
This
And
one's
he
not
should-
slowed.
Oh, no, just slow initiative. My apologies. So he should have advantage on this because he is faster for this first turn. See what
Yep.
happens. 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right. 10 sneaky sneak. 8 stabby stab.
All right. This one carrying a crossbow, or a longbow, in its withered skeletal hands, falls in a heap of bones to the floor. This guy over here, you hear him, he kind of cranes his neck at you, and you can hear like a crickety crack in his neck bones as he goes, "Urgh."
Wait your turn. Does this guy that I just murdered, does it look like he's got any money on him?
As a bonus, did you use your bonus action yet?
I did, yeah, I did.
Yeah, a little tough to tell in the foray.
Wait, no worries. Who's next? That's his
All
turn.
right. Okay. This guy's gonna move 10, 20. Yeah, he can move right here. And let's see here. You know what? I'm not gonna meta. He's got other fish to fry. He's gonna shoot his bow at this guy. That's a natural 13 plus 3 is 16. That hits. He does 6 points of piercing damage. You're noticing that this guy falls to his feet, falls to his knees. And is now being covered by, or dove onto by this zombie and this zombie. They're just kind of surrounding him and slashing and tearing at his flesh. All right, Mike, have a good one. Good to see you. We'll see you
fun,
next time.
everybody. Try not to become zombie chow.
Just for point of reference, our next meeting is going to be, let's see here. Come on, Mr. Map.
All the zombies, dwarf meat is really tasty.
Hey, it's 2.
Looks like the 12th of February. So we'll see you then, okay?
Okie doke. I'll
All
talk
right.
to y'all later.
Yep, have a good one. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. Okie doke. Moving on. It is Axton Woodman Bloom's turn. You got a +2, and you've got inspiration.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I will go right up here. I will take out my halberd, and I will smack at this one here.
All right.
Normal damage, halberd. 22 to hit, 14 damage.
All right. You dash it. You actually carve it in half, and your halberd. You're with your halberd, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can you go ahead and roll an additional attack because you actually carve straight through this creature and land into the torso of the other one? Oh, perfect. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You kind of cleave this guy clear in twain, and your halberd lands square into this one. They both collapse into rotten piles of meat. However, I need Sazaros and Axton to both make con saves. Alright. Axton, you take 1 point of poison damage. Sazaros, you take 3.
I call shenanigans.
No shenanigans here. Everything's above board. I just like to hurt you.
I noticed. I'll walk over the dead body. And then up here. And then I will use my second attack to attack this one here with the 2 axes.
Okay. Actually, one's an axe and one is a gnarly looking hammer.
Oh.
And he is fully armored.
Fully armored, oh great.
It's not good looking armor, it's very piecemeal and kind of hanging off his bones, but it is a set of full plate mail.
Okay.
Kind of rusty and jagged and cracked and
I will use a superiority dice. $17 to hit him.
17 hits. That's actually exactly what you needed.
Perfect. 10 damage.
10 damage on the armored skeleton. Very good. Yeah, you kind of catch him with the tip of your halberd and kind of slice a gouge into the front of his breastplate. He just kind of stumbles a couple feet and looks down at it. And you can see he's got these green glowing sockets where his eyes would be. He just kind of his jaw kind of opens wide, and you hear this guttural, ghoulish roar.
Nice. I use my action search.
Cool.
I attack this guy again.
Okay.
I'll use my superiority dice to make sure I hit. Yeah, that's
23.
Actually, sorry, that's going to be the inspiration dice, not superiority dice.
Fair enough.
So yeah, another 11 damage.
All right. Another swipe from your halberd. This time you sweep out one of his legs and actually kind of cleave him at the knee. He drops to one knee. It looks like he could probably still use his weapons if he wanted to, but he's at a severe disadvantage as far as movement goes.
Okay, so he is still up.
He's barely up.
Okay, I'll use my last attack on him.
Okay.
19 to hit.
That hits.
13
damage, yeah. You make quick work of this armored skeleton. At this point, you just kind of lop his head off, and you see his armored helmet kind of flopping on the ground a few feet in front of your. Actually, it bounces off of this cheese cart and kind of lays dormant on the ground. This one is no longer moving, collapses into a pile of armored bones.
I then finish my movement right there to give the Blackguard and Maven advantage.
Very good.
And my turn.
All right. So at this point, the undead orc, sees you approach, but he doesn't see you approach. He is turned towards the Blackguard at this point, and he is going to use one of his attacks against him. That is a natural 13 plus 3 is 16. That definitely hits him for 6 points of slashing damage. And at this point, he notices that someone has approached him from behind, and he's going to spin around with his great axe and just cleave you with it, Axton. That is a natural 18 plus 3 is 21. So, hold please. That is 7 points of slashing damage to you, Axton. That's going to end his turn. You start to hear, Axton, that rumbling sound, and right around the corner, you see a large, bloated, ogre-like walking corpse emerge from the darkness, and he is going to attack. He's got a 10-foot reach. He's going to attack this guy and this guy with 2 slam attacks.
Gross.
First one's a natural 18 plus 4. So that hits him. Yeah, this guy immediately... Hold on. This guy falls down unconscious from the blow. He's going to attack this other guy. Ooh, another natural 18. Holy crap. And he does 6 points of bludgeoning damage to this one, who has not taken any damage thus far. And that's going to end the large bloated guy's turn. At this point, you actually start to see more black guards show up. And so let's have them enter the field of battle. Wherever the heck I put them. And we'll have this guy show up. Over here, another one right here, and they're just kind of flooding this whole area. And you see them instantly start to be harrowed by the zombies and the skeletons in this place here. Okay, so this guy, he moved last time. There's nobody there. This guy's gonna move 10, 20, yeah, right here. He's gonna come over and he's gonna dive right into Luna with his fangs and his claws. That's a 15 plus 2 is 17 to hit.
That is.
All right. That is 2 points of slashing damage as his skeletal fingers just kind of scrape into her flesh.
Okay.
And at this point, you see this black guard come over here. And actually, he's going to attempt to fight this guy. That's natural 8. That doesn't hit. Ah, wait. Actually, it does. That's 2 points of slashing damage against the large zombie. That's going to end their turn. Koza, you are up with Maven on deck.
Right. First and foremost, I'm going to move right up by Sazaros, and then I am going to look at this giant bloated zombie and cast Moonbeam. Boom! Like right here. Centered like in the lower left corner.
What is the range? What's the radius?
It's a 5-foot radius, and the range is 120 feet, which, yeah,
I didn't mean range, I meant radius.
Oh, well, it's a 5-foot radius.
Okay.
And he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
So let's do this. Oops. You know, roll 20 is like, it's almost really great. But sometimes it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. Okay, con save, right?
Yes. It needs to be a 14.
Pretty good con for this dude. 14, that's a 15.
Ah! Well, he still takes half damage.
Okay.
So that is 2d10 radiant damage. So he takes 8 points of radiant damage.
Alright, the moonbeam strikes him from above, and you notice that his flesh and bones, they sizzle and spark and ripple a little more viciously than you would expect a creature being hit with this moonbeam.
Okay, and then as a bonus action, I'm going to... Yes, radiant damage. I'm going to pick up like a small pebble from the ground and cast Magic Stone on it. And it says that I can make a ranged spell attack. Can I do that on this turn, or no?
Does it say as an action?
It just says you or someone else can make a ranged spell attack by hurling or throwing this pebble.
Okay, what's the... It's a feat, right?
No, it's a cantrip.
Okay, what's it called?
Magic Stone.
Well, it should say if it's an action or a bonus action or something to that effect.
It says the casting time is a bonus action.
Okay. Yeah, if you haven't used your bonus action, you can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up a small little pebble, cast Magic Stone on it, and then huck it at this guy.
Oh, wait. I think we've been over this before. In order to use a bonus action spell, don't you have to use a cantrip for your action?
Is that what we said?
You know what? Because this is a cantrip, I'm going to allow it, because that kind of sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I have to make...
Who are you hurling it at?
This skeleton guy next to Maven.
Okay.
I have to make a ranged spell attack. Let me do that real quick. Oh, that's not great. That's a 11 to hit.
Hold on. Yep, that does not hit.
Alright. That ends my turn.
Okie doke. Maven with Yuno on deck. Maven, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to take 2 swings at the guy in front of me with my short sword.
Okay.
$21 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Another 7 points of damage.
Wow. Fortunately, that's enough to drop it.
Yay! Woo-hoo! Then, for the second attack, I'll hit the skeleton next to me with my short
All right.
sword. 13 to hit.
15 hits.
I said 13, sorry.
The skeleton, the 13 also hits.
Okay.
It's a big bag of bones, no armor.
9 points of damage.
All right.
And I will take a bonus action, flurry of blows, to hit him with 2 unarmed strikes.
Okie
21 to hit.
Oh yeah.
11 points of damage.
All right. You scatter this one to the wind. You hit him so hard he explodes backwards into a pile of bones that just litters the ground. A couple of them bounce off of Adgear's ankles.
Okay, and then move to about there. And that's my turn.
All right. You know, before you have a chance to react, you notice way up here that these 2 zombies, they get up from their meal and drift away in opposite directions, one towards this way, one towards this way. And this soldier slowly stands upright, his neck craned to the right, his arms slack at his side. He drops his shield, clutches his spear, and a green glow emanates from his eyes. Great. And he starts to drift towards his comrade, and you see him go to attack him. But it is your turn.
Alright, so Yuno is going to drop his original slow, because all those people are dead.
Okay.
And Yuno is going to cast slow on everyone in this box. So this guy, well actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to also do it on the dude attacking this dude.
Okay,
So
how many is that
basically,
total?
6. So only this guy that I'm clicking on is safe.
Okay.
So they all need to make a wisdom saving throw DC 16.
All right. 2 of them passed. So the big guy passed, surprisingly. And this guy, what is his deal? He's not special, right? No. All right, so this guy and this guy passed. This guy failed. Let's give him a snail. This guy failed. This guy failed. Which sucks because he's cool. Oh no, he already had slow. The new soldier zombie failed. This guy is safe. That's everybody. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, hold on. You know what? I didn't roll. Oh, no, he's already slowed. Never mind. I didn't roll for him, but it doesn't matter because he's already slowed. Okay. Anything else?
And then, as a bonus action, I'm going to shove the guy here.
Yep. Yeah, it's natural 8 plus 2, so it's a 10.
So I'm going to push him back 5 feet. So he's off of this dude.
Okay.
Does that knock him prone?
No, it just shoves him back.
All right. Oh, you know what? I never rolled initiative for this guy. Ooh, he did good too. All right. Okay. Is that going to end your turn, you know?
Let's... I'm gonna move up a little bit. Because all these people are dead. That'll end my turn.
Alright. Funny you should say that, because as you move, you notice this guy start to shift and wiggle and very erratically sit upright. His whole head, neck torn open, blood soaking his shirt, and he climbs very slowly to his feet. So let's give him this guy. Whoa, not so big. Or wait, no, you know what?
He's an all Attack on Titan on us.
I accidentally made him a map layer instead of a token layer. There we go. And they don't automatically shift to the 5-foot square. That's okay. There we go. Alright. That guy wakes up. As does this guy. You see him, and just because it's fun, we'll just keep him like that. And he just stands up. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? This guy up here. Same deal. He stands upright. Very shifty, very creakily. His arms, his legs, they're all torn asunder, but he has drive. Yep. Whoever just pointed that out, yep. This lady as well. She stands upright and begins instantly attacking the soldier that just joined the foray. The other there's a couple other corpses, I think, on the map, but they have not begun moving yet. But I believe that ends your turn, you know. Sazaros, you are up next with Baranor on deck.
All right, so I am going to move right over here and attack that guy.
Okay.
Swing and a miss.
Point of order. I got you, Sazaros. You missed. That's too bad. Maven, where you are, you can see. Let me back up so I can get a better. There we go. From where you are, yeah, you can just barely see along the front of this structure to your right, the straw structure. You can see a scene before you. It looks like this. Yep. I gotta account for the fact that you can't see past roofs. This.
Oh wow.
One of those large black carts that passed you guys on the road into Dainne has its back door open, and there are zombies and skeletons spilling out of the back of it. Just move these guys back. One of which is truly terrifying. Let me just make him a little bigger to give you an idea. He carries 2 spiked maces, and he's covered in spikes in with his armor.
Awesome.
But he's not that big. There's also...
Do they really have to bust them in?
What?
It's like they're busting in the undead now. Okay.
Yeah, and he's stumbling around, and up here, on the roof of this building, is a cloaked orc carrying a very gnarly-looking sickle-like scepter. He has green glowing eyes. He does not look like he is stumbling or waddling around like the rest of them, and you see him mouthing words. He's also surrounded by a strange bubble of energy that you don't recognize, and he's just waving his arms at some of these creatures who seem to be reacting every time he changes the position of his arcane somatic movements with his fingers. Sazros, you made a swipe that missed, but is there anything else you'd like to do?
Let's see. No, I'm going to sit there. If nothing else, I can be a target for the zombies as opposed to the 2 spellcasters.
Okay. Very good. Baranor, you're up.
Alright. I'm going to deal with this guy right next to me here. And 10 piercing damage for her.
Okay.
And I will move away with
Which guy? This guy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh,
She
he's dead.
bites his she bites his leg. He's not dead, but she bites his leg like off to the point where he can't move and really do much of anything anymore, and she just kind of tears into his chest until he stops moving.
Alright. In that case, I'm going to move then to here.
I'm going to go ahead, and while you're doing that, I'm going to get rid of some of these dead bodies just to clean up the field.
I will attack once with the Wind Razor. That's a 19 with 8 points of slashing damage.
All right.
And then
This guy?
I will then bonus action weapon fighting. So I'll pull a swing with a short sword. And hit with another 8 points of damage.
Another 8 points. Yeah, you're carving these guys up nice. This one drops too.
All right.
They don't have a lot of hit points, these zombies. They're very mushy.
With that being done, I am then going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'll move around back this way.
Okay. Let's see. Do you get to see anything? I don't think anything is. Oh,
Probably
okay.
Probably not from that angle.
Well, you're able to see all of this because these right here, this and this. These are tents,
Sure.
and you're able to kind of see through them without too much problem.
Okay.
The reason that the rest of this is obscured is because they're solid buildings,
Yeah.
But
Understand.
the fact that Sazros is where he is, I'll just go ahead and reveal this little sliver here. No reason to keep that hidden anymore. Yeah, just like that.
Oh, good. No enemies.
Oh, did I forgot to spawn my undead Tarask vampire lich? My bad. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Baranor?
Not even.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm good.
It is some of the zombies' turn. This one here, oops, is going to move back towards his friend, make a slash attack or a spear attack at his former comrade. That's going to be a pretty good hit. That is going to pretty much do it for this guy who's already taken some damage. So this guy falls prone, unconscious. You're not sure what the deal is. This guy is going to continue his barrage on Axton. That's a natural 15 plus 3 is 18. I don't think that hits you.
18 is my ace.
Ah, okay. So he strikes you for another 8 points of slashing damage, but that's all he can do as he is slowed. He now gets to make a con save, if I'm correct in that, Ken.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Yeah, it's a natural 3, minus 2. Unnatural 1. Let's see here. This one is slowed, but he is going to move around here, and he is going to fire. Now that he can see a little better, he's going to fire at... We're going to say he's going to fire... Well, let's roll for it so that it's fair. 2, 3, 4, 5... He's going to fire at Yuno. And that's a 12 plus 3 is 15.
Yuno's going to cast shield.
Okay. You deflect his arrow. This one's moving over here towards Atgeir. He's going to use his slam attack. It's a natural 9 plus 3 is 13. I don't believe that hits. And this guy is going to use his slam attack. It's a natural 1. One of his arms sloughs off and falls to the ground. However, this guy starts his turn in the moonbeam, so he has to make a... Is that another con save?
Yep.
It's a natural 11 plus 3 is 14.
That exactly meets it. So
All right, so roll damage.
He takes an additional 2d10. That is 5 points of radiant damage.
All right. And again, you see this sizzling through his whole body, and you're just like, man, that's really, really hurting him bad. Doesn't seem to be doing any more damage, but it's almost like preventing his necrotic flesh from functioning like it should be.
Who cast
And
slow earlier?
sorry?
Didn't you also cast slow?
He passed his save for the
He
squad.
passed his save.
Oh, but what I mean is, like, you can't have slow and moonbeam up at the same time. They're both concentration.
Considering
Okay, but he
Yuno's the
didn't
one that
cast-
casts slow, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's
That
two
was done
different
by
casters.
Yuno.
Where?
All right, at this point, you see this guy right here. He breaks out into a full sprint.
Oh boy.
And he has definitely enough movement. He is going to go into a full sprint towards Maven. Maven, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, one moment. Save. Almost done that. 15.
15 fails, unfortunately. So he kind of grabs you and slams you down to the ground. You are now prone, and the spikes in his armor dig into your flesh. And not only do they dig into your flesh, but you feel a searing white-hot pain accompanying each piercing of these spikes. It seems perhaps they are tipped in something. I don't believe you have purity of body or anything like that where you're immune to poison, right? Not yet. All right, so you take the full 11 points of piercing damage and 8 points of poison damage.
Holy Lord.
And he's now on top of you, and he's just hacking away at you with his dual spiked maces.
Yikes.
There's something fierce and feverish and ravenous about this zombie. He seems a little different from the rest. But that is going to end all of their turns for now. I'm going to have this fella. He moves over here. Let's see, how far can he fly? He can fly. He's got a fly speed of 30 feet.
Great, we have flying zombies.
Okay, so this guy right here is going to move over here. Blink to this part of the roof here. All right. And this guy's actually going to move out of the ouchie space and share space with his zombie friend. At Gear's turn, he is going to dispatch this guy as well as his buddy, if he can. I'm going to have him move over here, which is not out of his melee range. That is a 16 to hit and a offhand 15 to hit. He hits both of these guys. That's 13 points of damage. Okay, so this guy drops. He has killed one of them. But this one's still sticking around. That's going to end his turn. Out of the shadows, let's see, who's there? Oh, you know what? You guys can actually see in this direction quite well. So I'm just going to reveal the whole map. What the heck? Not much left anyway, right? You see between the buildings stumbling a second of these large behemoth-like creatures.
Right.
It looks like he's stumbling towards Atgear's position. And he is going to perform a burp attack, a toxic burp. You see him open his mouth and this green poisonous gas just goes bleh,
Boomer!
covers Atgear with this nasty kind of spittle-like belching. And he's going to have to make a con save. Ooh, that's a natural 19, so he's only going to take 8, 14, 17, half of that is 8 points of poison damage.
Is that like full damage? Because I think dwarves are resistant to poison or something like that.
Well, let's see here. No, 17 is full. I don't see anything under racial.
Yeah, maybe it's a different type of dwarf. Hey, that's fine.
8. Yeah, so so I gotta subtract 8, so he's got 19 points
His
left.
advantage on saving throws against poison. And you're resistant
Well, he
to
passed,
poison
so-
damage.
Yeah.
Oh, dwarven resilience.
Dwarven resilience. All right. That's that guy's turn.
Oh, it says here you have advantage on saving throws and you have resistance against poison damage.
Okay, so he takes none then.
You would take.
He's got
over.
resistance and he failed.
Yeah,
You would take half.
And he passed.
Oh. Yeah, you would take
Then
4.
I would
you still
say-
take half. Or unless one take 0. That's up to you.
I would say if you've got resistance and you pass, you take none. That's how I play.
Works for
Let
me.
me fix that. Let me fix my little goof up there for a moment. Boop, boop. Okay. Alright. Alright, it is... This guy's turn is going to shoot now at... He's going to move... No, not that guy. These guys are all going to move forward, by the way, and start attacking. And at this point, you're starting to see more and more Blackguard enter the fray. Let me get this guy. One of them is here. One of them is here. And to everyone's pleasure, you see one of the large, burly Minotaur creatures show up. And he just starts mowing zombies down. Goosh, goosh, goosh. He takes this guy out in a single swipe. This lady wakes up. He takes her out, and starts moving forward, just barreling into these creatures. The Blackguard are now kind of closing in on this group of undead. This guy's going to make a strike against the creatures around him. That's a 15. That hits. That is enough to end this one. This one is going to attack him, and his slam's going to glide off his gleaming armor. Let's see here. This one, you see this guy right here. Sit upright. Blood dripping from wounds in his flesh. He is now zombified. Let's see who we got down here. This one is going to turn towards Sazaros. He is going to get a natural 15 plus 2 is 17.
Cutting words.
Okay.
I'll just look at him and go, no brains. All right. Cutting words. Let's see. Using a bardic inspiration die, rolling it, and deducting it from his attack.
Okay. 3. Okay, so that was 17, so that's 14. I believe that doesn't hit you. All right, yeah. He kind of like cocks his head to the side, like kind of barely understands you. Almost in a past life, he would have taken offense at that, and it just confuses them enough where his fingernails just sort of harmlessly glide off of the edges of your clothing. All right, that is going to end their turn. Axton Woodman Bloom, you're up.
Well, it's the one that's right next to me. Let's see, I'm going to use one of my superiority dice. Or is it dice? Yeah. 17 to hit.
That hits.
Woohoo, 10 damage.
All right.
He's still
Which
up?
one is that? Hold on, I gotta find which one he is.
Yeah.
Oh, 10?
Yep.
He is just barely still up.
I'll hit him again.
Okay.
Oh, I miss.
Oh, yeah, you kind of hit him with your halberd. You kind of do like a poke to kind of like, you just want to kind of knock him over the undead, or the unconscious body of the zombie behind him, kind of trip him. And he kind of like stumbles a little bit, and you're like, well, that didn't work. And you go to slash at him, and the fact that he moved back is just enough for you to miss him, unfortunately.
Then he's a bitch. Because he's slowed, he can't do any reactions. Is that right? This guy is slow.
That's true.
I will back off.
Okay. Alrighty.
You can
So
leave
this
Maiden
guy
there,
up
right on
here-
the back. It's just defenseless.
Yeah, he's dead. Or re-dead. This guy right up here is going to shift his movement. Oops, hold on. There we go. To right about here. Wait, let's see. Where is everybody? Yeah. Let's see, how far away is he? Because he's up on the roof, he can kind of see everything. Okay. Oh, why don't I zoom out? That's better. I think we lost the music. Hold on. I like how if you haven't looked at Discord in a while, it just like forgets that you were using it. Alright. Okay. I need and Akoza. Who else is over there? Sazaros.
Yep.
Koza. Let me just look something up real quick. Yeah. I need you all to make dexterity saving throw as this creature up on the roof raises his hands above his head and tosses this deep glowing green mote of energy that lands right about here. And it detonates.
Question: is that a spell?
It is.
So is going to cast Counterspell.
All right, and he is going to use his reaction to also counterspell your counterspell, which I believe is a 2nd level spell, correct?
Third.
Third? Well, yeah, he uses a 3rd level spell to counterspell your counterspell, so his fireball goes through. He kind of saw you coming. He sees that you're a wizard, and he kind of maybe anticipated that you might try that. So one of his hands tosses a mote of greenish energy, and the other one is ready. And he sees you kind of immediately flash towards him, and he just counters your attempt to negate his spell. So that's an 11. That's a fail from Sazaros. That's a fail from Koza.
Hang on.
And that's okay. And how about Give me a dex save.
19.
These online dice.
19 passes. All right. This one's gonna hurt, boys.
Great.
Oh man. 3, 9, 11. No, 12. 18. 23. 28. 31 points of fire damage to everyone who fails, and 15 to those who pass.
Oh, that one hurt indeed.
Boom! This greenish eruption of fire.
Yeah, I'm about dead now.
What was that, fireball?
Yes, it was.
What was half?
15.
I'm guessing the zombie that is also here is either dead or immune to it.
Your mic must be back in another room.
This dude is dead. Yeah, you need to disconnect and reconnect again, Noah.
What is going on?
So, he is going to use his movement and fly away as far as he can, as he does not like the idea of these guards showing up. Yeah, he's gonna. You see him float in over this roof in this direction, out of view.
Oh, great.
Before he does, he's gonna use a free action and in Abyssal, which only Maven at this point. You can barely hear him over the sound of this zombie with spikes all over his armor, just sort of gnashing at you. You can hear him, this guttural groaning, where he says, clearly now at this point, "The children of the rot will have their feast. Your flesh will sustain them, and you will fill the ranks of the master." And
Wait,
he
so
is
this
going
is-
to buzz away.
So this is the walking rot.
That's all he said. And he floats
It's a
over
good
this
thing.
roof and out of view.
What was the last
Cozy
part of
doesn't
what you
speak
said?
abyssal.
He said, their flesh will fill their flesh will sustain you, and you will fill the ranks of the master. All right.
Cool. I just gotta copy it down.
Yep.
They tell me
All right,
I'm
Costa.
not time.
Koza, you're next.
All I am
With
going to
Maven
do.
on deck.
All I am going to do is move my moonbeam to right on top of this guy.
Okay. Please hold. Okay, is that a con?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a natural 8 plus 2. So that's a 10.
That fails. So he
All right.
takes all of this damage right here. $13 points of radiant damage. Right on his face.
On his face. Okay. It's not looking too good.
Okay.
He's actually on top of Maven. Are you able to choose who gets affected by that and who doesn't?
That's a good question.
Because I should have moved him. He's actually occupying the same space as her.
You get resistance to radiant damage?
No.
Man. Of course, my spell app isn't working properly. Moonbeam.
It doesn't make any mention about you being able to select.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I can pick and choose who it affects.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that you knew that. So if you want to retro that and do something different, you can. Because right
Yeah,
now you would be
I think-
affecting Maven.
I think I'll probably move it over here. Hang on. Over to here. To the big giant zombie in
Okay.
front of Valandiir.
Got it. I'll have him make that deck save. And
It's
that's
con.
or con save? Oh. Well, that's a 17.
Ugh. Okay,
He
that's
still
my
takes
turn.
damage, though. No,
I
he
know.
still takes damage. Is that 13? Half of 13?
Yeah, it's rounded down, so I'd say like 6, right?
Yeah, it's 6. Okay. All right.
That's my turn.
Okay. All right. This one's pretty healthy still. Healthy is a relative term. However, it is Maven's turn with Yuno on deck.
Okay, I want to use a Radiant Sunbolt on the guy that's pinning me to the ground at this point.
Okay.
It says that it has a range of 30 feet. Does that mean I would be making
just-
the attack with disadvantage since he's directly in front of me, or...?
Is it a ranged spell attack?
It is a ranged attack.
So it'd be disadvantaged because you're prone.
Got it.
That's all, though.
Okay, that'll be 18 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, thank God. Takes 8 points of radiant damage.
All right, you blast him off of you with that amount of damage, and his armor becomes almost hollow, like it scatters the flesh inside of his armor, and now there's just a set of empty armor scattered to the ground.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay, I will stand up.
All right, that's half your movement.
That's fine. And then I will move the 5 feet over to the other guy. right there. And then I will use Flurry of Blows to hit him twice.
I believe if you're using Flurry of Blows as a bonus action, your action has to be spent on a melee attack.
True, you are correct. I just thought about that. Okay, I will use an unarmed. Can I do an unarmed strike as a bonus action? Nope, I cannot. Okay, so I will use that key point then, and do patient defense. So I'll take the dodge action.
Okay. Perfect.
And that's my turn.
All right, you're up.
Yuno's going to cast Firebolt, and he's going to use his spell splitting and split that. So he's going to hit this big frickin' dude and this big frickin' dude.
All right, you can see both, no problem.
So that one is a 21, and that one is a 27. So they both hit.
All right.
And I'm just going to roll 1 damage because it's splitting the beam.
That's correct.
So 2d10. That is 18.
Okay.
And then...
So why don't you describe what that looks like, because you killed both of them.
Ooh, cool. So, I'm going to hit them both kind of like in the center of their big, disgusting guts, and then kind of just explode them from the inside. Like, I hit a pocket of some sort of gas or, kind of like remnants of gunk, and it just caused the whole thing to ignite and both of them to explode, spewing guts all over Atgear.
Yeah, Atgear gets covered in guts. He's already kind of covered in guts at this point. Blast apart. They actually blast with such ferocity that this one gets scattered to bones and guts, and this one gets scattered to bones. This one gets... These actually 2 guys under here, and while they're wearing armor, they're not going to get killed, but they're both going to be prone. And you now start to see these Blackguard descend en masse. There's now an army or a garrison descending upon them. The Minotaur just barrels through, washing his blade with blood thick. And these Blackguard are now just cornering all of these characters. These guys, there's a guy up there. I forgot about him. He's going to move up here. And this guy is now, there are more. Can I duplicate? I wonder if I can duplicate. Copy. Paste. Oh, cool. All right, yeah, and they're just making mincemeat out of these characters. Why did I do that? No. There we go. Okay. Mincemeat. And we're gonna say this guy is gone. This guy's gone. This guy has been destroyed. This guy's dead. They're able to kill him. These 2 are prone, so they're not dead quite yet. This one's gone. This one's gone. I mean, they're just kind of... You're starting to see the tide of this battle starting to turn. So we're going to go ahead and give Sazros and Baranor their turns. But you guys can kind of see that this is starting to turn in your favor. And mind you, just a point of order, you guys can kind of see that this incursion of the undead is sort of spread out, and perhaps covering larger than this map, and perhaps the fact that these soldiers were already covered in a blackish blood, that perhaps they're returning from other areas of the map where they've cleared out other undead. So, Sazros, you're up. Baranor, you're on deck.
All right. I'm going to use my last healing word. I only have one spell slot left of the day. I'm going to use my last healing word on myself.
Okay. Good idea.
Oh, what are you down to?
3.
3? If you could move closer to me, I can get to you and have a healing spell for you.
Let me see. I can move 30. So
I mean, you don't have to move very closer to me. I need to move like maybe 5 or 10 more feet closer to where I am.
all right. Actually, there's still that one guy right up there. I'm actually, thanks, but I'm going to use the healing word and I'll try to defend help with Maven with this guy right here.
No worries.
So
He's pretty hurt, by the way. He looks like shit. He's got gouges and smack marks and blood and bone hanging all off of him. Axton really did a number on him, and then before he left.
all right, so I get 5 back. I'm up to 8.
Cool.
Good to go. So I'm going to come in here. 15. And I will once again try to make a melee attack.
Okie dokie.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, that hits good. 8 piercing, 3 radiant. You stab him clear through his chest, and the radiance of Anthem's edge, you see it start to crackle and sizzle and melt the flesh around the blade and eject outwards in rippling veins of whitish yellow energy that just completely turn his upper torso and head and arms into dust, and his legs and hips fall down on the ground motionless. He is gone.
And I'm like wheezing and kind of panting a little bit. Look over to Maven. You good? Awesome.
You're live on here.
Okay, good.
Okay. That's good.
All right, Baranor.
Okay. Quick question: is it a bonus action or an action to switch weapons?
It's a free action. I don't care if you do that.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I'm going to move around to right about here. Switch to my arrow, my bow.
Okay.
My bow. Yep. And take a shot at that zombie right there.
Okie dokie.
With just a standard arrow. I only have like 2
Okay.
left.
Yep. You notice that he is being slashed at. That hits.
All right.
Surprisingly.
7 damage.
Yeah, you hit him right in the back of the head, and he falls. He drops like a sack of potatoes. He's already being attacked by the soldiers surrounding him.
I think I need to move up a little bit to get to this guy. Maybe like here.
Yeah, I say you have line of sight there. Sure.
Okay. I have sharpshooter, so if he has cover, or all with the exception of complete cover, I ignore it. So.
Yeah, you can hit him. No problem.
Yeah. Another 12.
That hits.
10 damage.
10 damage. All right. He also drops.
All right, and I think that's all I can do.
Yeah, with that, I'm going to say that this foray is pretty much handled at this point. You notice that the Blackguard have laid the rest of these zombies asunder, torn them to ribbons, set them on fire. There doesn't seem to be any more of these creatures moving, and you see the Blackguard sort of shifting between body to body, kind of poking them with their their swords and spears to make sure that they truly are unmoving. There's no sign of the cloaked orcish individual who floated behind the building and disappeared. The cart that all of these creatures were spilling out of seems to be helmed by no one at this moment and empty, and the horses that were carrying them are just regular standard horses. So combat is officially over, and while you guys kind of collect yourselves, we're going to go ahead and take our break. And the large group of soldiers, minus the Minotaur is kind of walking around and stomping the heads of all of these creatures. But a couple of the higher-ranking soldiers are going to be approaching you, and you see this happen, and you can just go ahead and think about what you'd like to do while we take a break. So we'll be back at about 5:20 Eastern Standard Time.
How many minutes is that?
It's 15.
Okay.
15-minute break.
A second.
All right, cool.
Alrighty. Alright. As we left off, you all had arrived at Dainne, expecting to unload your trophy and meeting up with the Hargroves at their estate. However, upon entering the outskirts of the city, you noticed that there was a commotion on the streets ahead, and to your horror and to everyone's dismay, a roving army of undead creatures lay waste to the citizens and poor simple folk of the outskirts of Dainne. The Black Guard, doing what they could, were somewhat overwhelmed, and your assistance aided them eventually in putting down this unfathomable threat in the middle of the broad daylight. You also noticed that they were being led by a mysterious orcish figure who was speaking some sort of language that only Maven seemed to understand. And without sticking around to see his army of undead succeed, he vanished behind a building out of sight, just as you were all able to quell the last remaining zombie and skeleton and eliminate the threat. At this point, as you gather your composure, you are approached by several members of the Black Guard. And if the map serves as a reference, I think that it looks like Maven and Sazaros are the first to be approached. You there, Elf, and you, Dragonborn. Thank you very much for your assistance in this disturbing display. What can you tell me about what you encountered?
Well,
Bless you, Elf.
Not really much for us to tell. We were coming into town to conduct some business, and when we heard this commotion coming and seeing townsfolk pouring away from this area.
Yes, it seems whoever drove the black iron cart into town intended to disrupt the proceedings of the Classic with this army of undead. Did anyone understand what that creature spoke when it said something on top of the roof?
I did. I speak abyssal. Can you mute? What he had said was, the children of the rot will have their feast. Their flesh will sustain you, and you will fill the ranks of the master. That's what I got.
Interesting.
Children of the rot?
Would I have any idea? This might be.
Make a religion check.
Would I hear her say that?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to
21 total.
I'm going to try and sneak around the back of this cart.
That's a 10, really.
I'm gonna try and like sneak around the guards to get behind this building.
Okay. I mean, nobody's stopping you. And I mean, you get around to the back of the building, and you don't see anybody. Oops! I just deleted you by accident. Koza's dead.
Oh no.
Well, I
Hang
got
on,
nothing for him this time, sorry.
I can put myself back. Hang on.
Why is there a sliver? It's dumb. Okay. Yeah. You go around to the back of the building. I mean, you don't notice anybody.
Damn it! Ugh. And I return like around here.
Okay. So about this time, the guards seem to be conducting their own investigation. They take down all of your names. They don't give you any orders or anything. They're just kind of trying to make sense of the situation, and they bid you on your way while they, they're kind of like dragging the corpses off the main road, and it looks like they're assembling, calling over a kind of like a wood cart to throw the bodies into, and doing their best to kind of clean up the place and return the area to some semblance of normalcy, while also questioning, people inside the nearby buildings and conducting some kind of a progressive investigation. With your 21 religion, Maven, you will 100% recall reading about a death cult known as the Walking Rot. You actually remember reading, or you recall this cult when you were remembering your training back when you fought Balak, the Sanguine Dread, and his association with this cult as a champion of sorts to the Walking Rot. You know that the Walking Rot is led by 2 or 3 individuals, one being a lich elf named Eladriel, and a orc wizard necromancer known as Gizrak. There are also a couple other champions that kind of lead the armies of the undead, but those are the 2 that you definitely remember. And you know that their goal is to convert all of the living in the world to undead, and to use the energy of that transformation to unleash their master, Malagrim, who is a chained, he's a chained and imprisoned champion of Orcus in his own right, who is prophesied that once the whole world is undead, then the Fanes that hold his imprisonment will be destroyed, and he will be released upon the world.
Okay.
That's what you get with a 21.
Wow. Okay, I will relay that to everyone, including the Blackguard, because that's what I would do.
Okay.
And yeah. Confident.
Gizrak, huh?
Gizrak.
That's the name of that bastard. We need to find him.
You hear Adgir pipe up. You got some bit of personal business with this Gizrak there, Koza?
He's the fucker that took my daughter.
Well, guess that's a reason to want to kill him then.
And what was that gent's name again?
Gizrak.
Gizrak, Gizrak.
You guys certainly are involved. Some interesting people.
And remind me again, he was the elf necromancer?
No, he was the orc. The elf's name, her name was Eladriel, E-L apostrophe A-D-R-I-L.
Eladriel, okay.
She is an elven lich.
And then the orcish necromancer.
Yep.
Yes.
Correctamundo.
And the black guard in charge, one of the captains, he's just kind of taking down all your information on a piece of parchment with a quill and shaking his head with each thing you say, shaking his head more and more. This is the third incursion this month of these undead bastards. When will they cease? When will they give it up? They never win. They never do more than a little bit of damage.
Trying to nickel and dime you to death.
It is troublesome these times. All we're doing here is trying to create a space of celebration for the Classic, and all these people want to do is tear it down. It is dismal, to say the least. Well, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your efforts. And he kind of tips his head at another guard who he's not really a guard per se. He's kind of in a black and silver tunic. He's kind of carrying what looks like a bundle of poles and tarps over his one shoulder, and he's got a sack around the other shoulder. He says, "Pay these good people for their assistance. I believe that valor and honor deserves to be rewarded in this kingdom." And he kind of he takes the sack off the guy's shoulder, and he produces 5 platinum per person and gives them all to each of you.
Right. Pleasure doing business with you.
Yes, there you are. You've earned it, and thank you very much. It's not often you find those willing to step into a fray of ghastly creatures such as this, so thank you for your time. And he turns around, but he continues what he was doing and taking stock of the area and kind of hurrying people along out of the foray and cleaning up the battleground, trying to make things a little more settled down. Yeah, that's it. The day is yours. What do you guys wish to do?
Pretty late in the day, if I remember correctly. So we're probably getting towards evening.
It's probably around. It was about 2:00 when you left the Grung. So at this point, it's probably around 3:40, 4:00. Early evening, sure.
Okay. So good. So hopefully we can, make it to the Hargrove estate before sunset. There was another decide to interrupt.
I'll tell you what, I'll be looking forward to a tankard full of ale and a soft bed under my arse.
Well,
I think we need it.
I think we all can benefit from that after this past week.
Yeah, it's been rough.
All right, well, I'll say moving your way through the streets of Dainne, it doesn't take you long. You remember where the Hargrove residence is. Let's see here.
We're riding up Main Street with the head of the land shark in our heart.
Oh, yeah. Point of order, you guys are drawing attention from pretty much everybody in the streets. They're used to seeing people dragging strange carts filled with oddities and things like that, but nothing quite as robust as the head of a boule just traipsing through the streets of Dainne.
Were we supposed to be covert with this?
I don't see.
I don't know how you can be covert with this.
The whole of this was that Hargrove was supposed to present this, that he killed it, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I got an idea.
We're just the hired muscle moving the head, right? That's it.
Good point.
I'll remind you that he didn't specifically say, I want to present this as if I killed it. It was just he wanted the head.
Okay.
He just wanted the head.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Scared us for a second there, Baranor.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying not to get on people's bad sides, which you guys excel at.
Well, you gotta be good at something.
That's about the understatement of the century.
Right.
However, it doesn't take you long to find the Hargroves estate. And with a little, very light persuasion on part of the gate guard, you're allowed entrance. You're all filthy. You're all stinking. And the major...
Think that unit could have to digitate us a little bit.
I would say he probably remembers to do that himself. But with a little bit of persuasion...
Look like how we feel?
Yeah, you definitely look how you feel for sure. The Major Domo is nonplussed and not impressed by the state of your attire. He kind of, with his tightly ponytailed gray hair and his smart colonial suit, kind of a hook nose and stuffed shirt demeanor, kind of claps his hands very briefly and has some attendants sort of help you down off of the cart and off of your horses, and begins to arrange you all to get some modicum of, like, they're kind of wiping the sludge off the front of your faces at the very least, and making you somewhat presentable as you round a corner into the main reception room to find the Hargroves there ready to greet us.
Well met to you both. Or to you all.
Crown Collectors, you've returned. Please, you look like you've had quite a day, or week perhaps. Where have you been this whole time? So,
the week has
tell
been
me,
rather
how went the hunt? Were you successful?
Well,
Would you like to come outside and see?
and find out for
You look
yourself.
at the giant crowd outside.
Yes, let's go. Darling, will you please escort Reese to his room and see that he's occupied? I want to take a look at this trophy that the Crown Collectors have returned with. And you see Penelope just gently take their son. It was lovely to see you all again. Will you be staying for dinner?
I don't see why
We did
not.
not turn down such a gracious invitation.
No.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. If you're amenable to it, we shall make up some of the spare rooms, and perhaps you can spend the night if you wish. Yes, let's get them clean. Let's get them baths drawn and ready for them to be cleaned up. They look like they could use a wash. It's lovely to see you, and I'll be back with you shortly. And she kind of disappears into the house. Well, let's go and see what you've brought for my brother. He shall be returning from his own escapades in the morning. So let's go and see. And he follows you out to the front courtyard, and where your cart is positively sagging at this point, with the head of the boulet and your platinum ore. It's just the wheels at this point look like they're ready to crack and fall off. And you see Sir Thorsten's eyes just turn into the size of cantaloupes. It's like, my word. So it's true. The land shark of the Shambling Fields is dead. Well, Luther will be ecstatic. He'll want to hug each and every one of you, although I would definitely recommend a bath first. Whew, you are all ripe. What's gotten you so dirty? Doesn't seem like this thing's blood has left that much of a mark on you.
We'll also take the opportunity to discuss our adventure that we just had coming into town.
And, body odor.
Well,
we also have the stench of the undead on us, too.
Right, but
yeah, as you go
there's a
through
lot of layers.
As you go through with what happened, explaining to him the undead and all that, you see his face just kind of become a little more sullen and a little pale, a little green around the gills. And he just kind of looks at each of you and says, My, you folks really are a group to have on hand, aren't you? I can't tell you how much I'm grateful for, as being a knight of this city, that you were there, and who knows how many countless citizens would have died if you hadn't intervened. So well done, all of you. Definitely have to look into this walking rot. It seems to be the second or third or fourth incursion on the dead on the city in a number of weeks. I don't understand why they've picked Dainne to attack. Strange. But good of you all to be here when they arrived. Who knows what would have happened if you weren't. Is everyone all right? Does anyone need medical attention?
Actually, I probably could.
He kind of waves his hand and you see it's like a little yellow silk rope on the side of the hall next to a doorway. He kind of pulls on, and you hear ding dong dong. And the major domo arrives and kind of posts up next with his arm and a little towel draped over it in front of him. Yes, master, you rang. Yes, fetch the healer. Our guests could use a bit of attending to. And you see the major domo just kind of look over all of you. Right. And his demeanor changes a little bit. I mean, he seems like kind of a stuffy guy, but in the presence of someone who's hurt, he looks like he is genuinely concerned. Right, this way. We'll take care of you all. And he directs you into a side chamber, and there appears to be amongst, cooks and butlers. Seems to be kind of like where the servants' headquarters are within the mansion. There's a young woman with a kind of a silver chain around her neck with a holy symbol around her neck. And it's not anything any of you recognize, but she's also got kind of a nurse's kind of cowl over her head, and she carries what looks like a black leather bag, and she pulls out of it a number of small implements, and she kind of looks over all of you, and we'll say in her efforts she is able to heal Koza for 11 points of healing, and Sazaros for 10 points of healing. Will there be anyone else who is in need?
Maven, are you?
I'm okay, but I mean I could use a little.
Very good. She takes kind of a smaller, a stubby, kind of off-white, eggshell-typed short one, almost like a long piece of chalk. Kind of waves it over your wounds and does 6 points of healing for you.
Thank you.
Yes, will there be anyone else?
Seems like the rest of us are pretty good. We thank you very much.
You're very welcome. But this, your baths are drawn, and each of you get your own. There's not really a community bathhouse within the room, but you each in your guest rooms have your own little basin of hot water, and there are, for those who wish, there are attendants who will tend to your sore muscles and stripping you of your armor, and you just kind of enjoy a moment to yourself to retrospect what has occurred in the past week for you, and the people you've met, the things that you've done, the sights that you've witnessed, the creatures that you've encountered. Just all kind of taking it in and getting a moment to relax, to the point where most of you kind of fall asleep within the bath, and it's just a very soothing sensation. Pretty much. Yeah, you kind of drift awake with a bit of a start as one of the servants, you see one of the servants, and this is for all of you, kind of laying out your clothes. They've been prestidigitated, clean.
Don't worry about Luna, she's well trained.
Yeah, Luna's just kind of sitting down next to you, kind of guarding you. As soon as one of the attendants enters the room, she kind of stands momentarily, just in a moment of hesitant guarding, but, not smelling a threat, kind of relaxing a little bit. You kind of tussle her hair and kind of wash behind her ears a little bit.
Ah, wet dog.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
And the servants kind of let you know that dinner will be served, and as you all sit down, Sir Thorsten, Penelope, Reese, they all just kind of take in everything that you've done over the past few days. Is there anything anybody would particularly like to role play before you end the night?
Well, I just want Mr. Thorsten know that the outer shell of this boulet was encrusted with platinum. It's not only a fine trophy, it's probably worth a pretty penny.
Yes, indeed. I think once it is properly processed, its hide would make a fine trophy. I'm not exactly sure what Luther wants done with it, but I can imagine many things. You could make a suit of armor out of the thing. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not a taxidermist myself, but a large boulet skull like that. And I thought I saw a smaller boulet skull in there. Is that true?
Yeah, I have some fragments from a smaller one.
Did you capture that creature for Luther as well?
If he's willing to, look at it, sure, if he wants.
And we actually killed a total of 3 boulets while we were out there.
That's right.
Well, if Sir Luther does not want that fragment of the other boulet skull, and you wish to keep it, perhaps turn it into something, I do happen to know someone who is an expert in processing animal remains and using them for services of creating leathers and armor plating. Why don't you go and see my man Bram Oberhelm? He's down on Craver Street, and he operates a very quaint little shop, and I use him for all of my armor needs. He's a wonderful armorer down there. Tell him Thorsten sent you. He'll give you a very good deal.
Would he also be the person to talk to for smelting purposes?
Smelting? No, you'd want to go down to the Underforge for that. Okay. That's where the iron mine and the silver mine tends to process most of their metallurgy. I don't particularly know anybody off the top of my head that works down there, but what were you planning on getting into the metal trade?
In our hunting of this creature, we came across some platinum ore.
Ah, platinum ore. Well, splendid. That should fetch a pretty penny once you've had it fully processed.
I'm also actually interested in getting into the smelting trade, perhaps.
Well, the Underforge is the place to visit. It's definitely at least somewhere to get your feet wet, get to know some people down there. Will there be anybody else want to interact?
I would like to just kind of sit in my room, and I will pull out my holy symbol of the Moonweaver and just start praying.
And what would you like to say to the Moonweaver?
I know not how far your power can extend onto me, but all I ask is that when I find this Gizrak, that you grant me the power to enact justice. And I want to be the one to do it. I feel as though I am owed this justice.
You feel...
I wish to be the...
Go ahead.
and I wish to be the one to strike him down.
You feel a pair of ethereal-like hands on your shoulders. And almost a warm, crisp patting of your back, as if to calm you, to ease the fire in your lungs. No words, just a feeling of, do not let this anger become who you are. It will cloud your judgment and cause you to make mistakes. Those who deserve justice find it in the end, in this life or the after. You just get that feeling of take it easy, breathe. Almost a motherly feeling.
I let out kind of an exasperated sigh, and I just go to bed.
Deservingly so. You hit the pillow and you're out before you lay down.
What's the kid's name?
Reese.
Reese. I'll go up to Reese, and with one of the goulet teeth, having taken a piece of string, pulled a piece of string off of the rope, fastened a little necklace, and give it to him.
He kind of looks at it and looks at his mother, and she kind of looks down at him and nods her head in subtle approval. And he kind of takes it and he looks at it, and he pokes at it with his finger, and he runs his tip of his finger along the serrated edge of it.
Ooh, careful.
You got this off a monster?
Yeah. There's a smaller version than the one that's out there, but it's still pretty deadly.
That's big, though. Can I keep it?
Yeah, this is for you.
Oh, thanks. That's so cool. Mom, look, he gave me a shark tooth. And he's just sitting there turning it over and over in his hand and rubbing his finger, and you see him kind of catch his skin on the serrated edge just a little bit, not enough to draw blood. He's like, ow.
It's very sharp, so be careful. I'll tussle his hair and then...
He's just enamored with you. He's just staring between you and the tooth and can't believe that you gave him something that came off of a monster. And if there isn't anything else, the night draws on. You ingratiate yourself a little bit more with the Hargroves here. Talk about the upcoming tournament, at which point Sir Thorsten, now that the official sign-up board has gone up and many have added their names, you share with him the events that you wish to enter, and he notices that Maven, you haven't entered into the hand-to-hand combat arena.
That wasn't available when we passed through the first time.
Oh, you really must join. If I'm to believe what you've told me about, what your friends have told me about your hand-to-hand skills, it would benefit you to join. It's, I believe, 150 gold to enter, with a purse of 400 gold if you win.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the not so attended events, but I always like to check it out and place my bets on who might be the lucky one to knock the champion out. We've got a couple of monks from the local temples here that love to compete against each other's religions and see who's the better sparrer, and I think you're just the one to unseat them all.
I will definitely do my best. I'll have to get to that probably in the morning.
Yes, and speaking of which, I believe I shall retire for the night. Darling, shall I see you upstairs soon? And she's like, oh yes, it's getting quite late. Come along now, Reese, it's time for bed. And he's just like, this is so cool. Just turning this necklace over in his hand. He's like, I'm gonna make it into a weapon. And then he just toddles off into their room. Sir Hargrove kind of gives you all a nod, and you retire to your rooms. All of you are super into a comfortable bed for the night, and you're out before your heads hit the pillow. Your bodies are clean, you feel full from the meal. Sleep couldn't come at a better time, and you can all go ahead and apply a full night's rest to your characters.
Thank God.
Yeah, that was a rough few days for you, wasn't it?
Thank God, or whatever.
Thank the Moonweaver.
Oh, I was talking about yours.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Morning comes to you all. The smell of bacon and eggs, the roiling of ale being brewed in the kitchen. You all rouse and rise and feel yourselves rested, sore, but no more worse for the wear than you are used to after a battle. Sir Thorsten can be found in the dining hall finishing his breakfast, and you hear him laughing and giggling and carousing with a familiar, boisterous voice. Well, those silly chaps. Have they come back with my trophy yet? Ah! And he's round the corner and looking to his barrel-chested attire, his slicked-back, short blonde hair, just a commanding presence, is standing next to somebody. With his arm around her shoulder. It's a woman of profound beauty. Very, very pale skin, almost white, and dressed in black, a black and silver trimmed dress. She's got long, straight black hair, very dark eyes, dark makeup, very goth, but she wears it so well. She's got a metal shoulder pauldron with 3 sharp blades that stick out at one side. She wears silver and dark green jewelry. And she's just kind of in the middle of this conversation with the 3 of them. Ah! Crown collectors, come. You must meet my betrothed. This is the lady, Kethra Els, Froth Croesus. And she looks something like this.
Wow.
Love.
It is wonderful to meet you all.
Like Morticia Adams ready to go to the club.
Salutha has told me of your escapades to bring him the head of the large shark of the Shambling Fields, yes?
Yes, my lady. The tale here told are true.
And they kind of, you see Luther just kind of look down at her. Every word out of her mouth, his smile grows just a bit wider, both from the fact that you get the sense that he just loves the way her voice is, and he loves what she's saying, that you brought him this trophy. And she just kind of looks at each of you. She's got kind of a green jewel in her necklace, a green ring on her finger, and she just exudes elegance and beauty from a different point of fashion, not traditional. She doesn't look like Penelope, but she's just as beautiful, just in a different way. And as she approaches each of you, you can't help but feel enamored by her. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Yay!
Love it.
We made it back
I
to
love
civilization.
the girl. Oh my god.
Can you give me her full name and title again?
I will put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably benefit everybody.
Yay, we didn't die.
Yeah.
Although some of us came friggin' close to it.
What was the entry fee for that unarmed combat thing?
150.
Wow. That's
and the purse was 400.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I can cover some of the stuff if she needs it. My entry fees are only like
Oh, I forgot to mention, she's also got some facial
25.
piercings. She's got a couple eyebrow rings. She has a nose ring with what looks like a platinum chain that goes from her nose, sweeping down below her chin up to her ear.
Oh, yes. Love it.
You can see it in the picture.
That's all fancy.
All right, folks, that was fun.
Always a pleasure playing with you people.
Yeah.
What do you mean,
you
you
guys
people?
rule.
Oh my god.
He means it exactly how it came across.
Exactly as it's
feeling.
He is prejudiced against those who live on the West Coast.
yeah, that's fairly
I am
common.
prejudiced against everybody.
Looking at that
Equally.
laden wagon, it just reminds me of the Blues Brothers, like when they get out right before the car just falls apart.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, I would say that that thing's definitely in need of repair.
Yeah.
So
We
we're
could,
gonna meet again. We're gonna meet again on the 12th.
Well, yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right, folks. Everybody have a great night. Have a great couple weeks, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye bye. Bye, everybody.
Adios.